I always do this. It's Hime's fault, 1000%, right? It's always Hime's fault. Every day there's something that you do, Hime. All right. What is it? Episode 8? Let's go. All right. We are live. I'm pretty sure everybody can hear us, right? Can you guys hear us? Yeah. Damn, Milkman sending Hime flowers already? Did you bring your simps over here, Hime? All right. Anyway, hello everybody. This is that One Piece talk. We are doing the Secret Void Century episodes today. It is episode 8, and I just wanted to say I have two really super dope people, and I guess we could start calling them regulars because they've been here twice before. We have the wonderful Hime and the amazing Chestnut. Hello ladies, and how are you today? Yeah, you ready? How about you, Hime? How are you? Yeah. Uh, no, that's on me. That's on me. I know. I
They
know.
can hear the stream.
I know. I switched it to the headphones. My bad. Go ahead. Introduce yourselves again.
Wow.
That was
You know,
funny. That was funny.
La-
Okay.
Larry already starting off with his L takes. I
So I
can't
have a
believe
question.
this.
Am I the only one who was muted?
Nah, you guys.
No,
You
no.
guys are both muted. My
Okay,
bad.
I
That's
My
thought
bad.
crazy.
My
I
bad.
was gonna
Crazy.
beat you up, bro.
I be forgetting to switch it over to the headphones. That's why. All right. My bad. Okay. So how are you ladies doing? Chestnut.
All right. Oh yeah, go ahead, Jessa.
Nah, I'm doing great. My computer still works. So that's a plus. I'm I'm winning.
Yeah. Sounds like you're winning. And Hime, how are you doing? You're already getting sent roses and stuff. So
Yeah, I don't know who you are, but like, you can DM me. I will follow you. So,
she says slide in her DMs. That's what we heard.
anyways, so and I didn't even tell my TikTok that I was doing this. I should have.
It's
But
okay.
anyways, let's go back. I'm super happy. I was super excited about this podcast again because like doing a podcast with you at Chestnut is amazing and it's always fun. So I'm so ready for this.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you both for being here. Literally, every time you guys join me, I feel super honored. And I don't know. I just feel like I like talking to both of you a lot more than the guys because as you've seen in the Discord recently, they just get a little wild and crazy.
We're Larry's
We
favorite.
wild and
Confirmed. Let's go.
We also get wild and crazy. Like honestly, it's
No,
not
but
just
you guys
them.
are a different wild and crazy where I gotta be like, yo, watch what you say. Pause.
All the time. He's pausing us all
Yo,
the time.
all the time. And I'll be like, yo, I feel like sometimes I'm like, yo, do I gotta watch out for the guys? Or do I gotta watch out for the ladies? It seems like I gotta watch out for them more.
Listen, in the Discord, which you guys should, if you aren't following, go join the Discord. It's fun. I am like 1v10ing everybody. My Conquer Taki too strong. You know, I don't take hit slander. I don't take people overhyping characters. Like we are here for manga panel facts, baby.
Listen, you
And
heard
we're
it.
here to have fun and game and have watch parties and shit. Like, just come. You're gonna have fun.
Yeah, so I was actually gonna say to both of you, I do have your description links, and I have your links in the description of the video, but introduce yourselves for everybody who doesn't know who you are and is probably watching this for the first time. So we'll start with Hime.
So it's well, I go by Hime, and I actually am more active on TikTok than anything. I started like this September, just posting some funny videos and stuff. So you can follow me on Ohime Tenchi on TikTok, and then also like on my Instagram. So yeah, I just do some funny videos about anime and One Piece related. So
All right, and her links are in the description of the video below. And then Chestnut, who are you and where can they find you?
I am the Chestnut Tanuki. You can find me on Twitter Instagram, TikTok, which is where the majority of my content is right now, and on YouTube, I am making a video. It is coming out. I am just trying to edit, and apparently, I have no skills with editing, so that will be coming out shortly. But I do One Piece analysis, One Piece theories. I also do stuff on some other anime, but I primarily am an anime, a One Piece TikToker. So, if you like One Piece, drop a follow, please. I'm almost to 9,000 on TikTok.
Yeah, they're both very, very good. We were introduced to Chestnut through Nerdtaku. He shared her profile with me, and I reached out to her. I slid in her DMs, and then I also slid into Hime's DMs because she knew somebody that I started following when we first started our TikTok profile. So thank you for basically both being here. We did get some super chats. We got one from Red Hair Shankdom for $2. He says, if this stream was the Supernova Trio, Larry for sure is Kid. Yo, Strahd, can you ban him? Like, time him out for like, at least the whole stream.
Please, Luffy and I'm Law and you're Kid. Let's do this.
And then Celestial Donkey super chatted $20 and he said hashtag Buggy Gang.
Hashtag Buggy Gang.
I guess.
Yes, hashtag Buggy Gang every day. Yo.
And then Sogi King with the 5. He says Larry is definitely also shirking is the kid of his era. I don't know what he means by that. Maybe did I just catch a stroke? What's shirking? What's shirking?
Like shirking responsibility, probably. I'm assuming that it's being used in that way. They're basically trying to use Kid to insult. But here's the thing. Kid does not deserve the slander. Kid is a good character. If there's any Kid slander, I'm going off today. But I love you, Hime, but if any Kid slander, I'm going off.
Look, it depends on Larry's questions. Like, everything depends on that. Like, if he doesn't bring him up, there's not gonna be any slander.
All right. And then what do we have? We have Shin with $2. He says Chestnut representing Kid the right way.
That's right.
I guess. Is there really a right way to represent Kid?
It's the only way, and it's to represent him like how Oda does.
Look, there's prettier trash than other trash, so you can still, I'm joking. I love you, Chestnut. I love you.
Yo, Chestnut and Hime are about to break up on screen right now. And then we have Oz with the $5. He says, made it a little late, but hashtag Buggy Gang 101.
Buggy Gang. This is what I'd like to hear. Buggy isn't a gag character, he's that character. He got that dog in him.
Next Pirate King.
Alright. So, oh my god. Sogi King with $2 says, oh my bad, I meant Shiki is the kid of his era. Nah, that's disrespectful. I feel like Shiki had way more of an impact. Like, he could have took out Roger. Like, he literally could have took out Roger. And Roger only survived because of a storm that randomly happened and took out most of Shiki's forces.
Just wait till Kid and Luffy meet back up. Your guys are gonna be having a different tune when Kid is 1v-0ing Luffy. I don't care.
You think so? Hold on. So you think that Kid is going to 1v1 Luffy?
I think they're gonna probably have a 1v1 at some point. I don't think that Kid is gonna win, but he's definitely not like this trash character.
So what difficulty would it be for Luffy?
Probably high diff. Without the use of Gear 5, I mean, we saw the damage that Kid is able to do. So it's gonna be awakening against awakening. It's just that Luffy's awakening is stronger.
Yo, Hime, you got anything to say to that?
Listen, I'm not saying that Kid cannot become stronger. I'm pretty sure he can become stronger, but to Luffy's level, I don't think so. But he can become stronger for sure. For sure. But it would take him way more than just, this small island he's going to become as strong as Luffy, I feel like. Because he would have showed us some of his skills already if that was the case. And he cannot just become 10 times stronger just from doing a small, stop at an island.
He made a rail gun. He rail gunned Big Mom. That is insane.
But to be fair, Big Mom wasn't like she was portrayed so weak in Wano. Like, let's
She
be
was
honest.
Big Mom was so I think that the reason people think that Big Mom was portrayed as weak in Wano is because they just undervalue Kid and Law and their efforts. Kid and Law and Wano were insane. The fact that they were able to go up against Big Mom and that Big Mom was able to basically hold both of them back at the same time is such like an incredible feat considering that Law not only has one of the strongest devil fruits in the verse canonically, but has awakened that devil fruit. And the same with Kid. Like Kid's devil fruit is pretty strong, and the fact that he's able to use his awakening. And as we know, Big Mom has like never taken damage unless she had a tantrum. Throughout that entire fight, where was the tantrum? So the fact that they were able to beat Big Mom, like Kid and Law were able to beat Big Mom, that's it. Like they're incredibly strong characters. Big Mom is relative to Kaido, and Kaido and Big Mom took out multiple people on the roof, and then
Mm.
it was just that Yamato also went up against Kaido, which you could say, well, Kaido took more damage. Kaido also went against the Akaza. So by the end of it, you can really put Big Mom and Kaido to be very close to each other, if not relative. And the
Yeah, but
amount of people that went up against Kaido was significantly more than the amount of people who went up against Big Mom. So yes, I think that Luffy definitely beat Kaido and did that. But the fact that we're saying that Kid and Law, like beating Big Mom wasn't this huge feat, gigantic feat from Kid and Law. Like Big Mom didn't go up against as many people that were able to do as significant damage.
I get it, but I feel like Big Mom wasn't actually defeated. She was just pushed off the island. This is how I saw it. Like, they didn't actually defeat her. They were just, I mean, yeah, they did some attacks and they were strong and everything, but like she was pushed off. This is how they actually won. I feel like if she wasn't pushed off, it would have been way harder to like
Well,
beat
she
her.
was pushed. Oh, on rooftop, she was pushed off so they could separate her and Kaido. But in the manga, she was pushed down. Like they took the railgun and physically pushed her through like the
Yeah,
ground.
but if, for example, they were on a land and like she was just pushed like, a bit far, like she would have came back and like the fight would have still been going on.
Or like on the rooftop,
Not
or
necessarily like let's say there was nothing they could push her off from.
yeah. But what fight are we talking about? Are we talking about like the
Law and
supernovas?
Kid.
For
Yeah.
so for Law, like when Law and Kid were fighting her, they didn't push her off because they pushed like she was railed gunned into the ground and thrown down, which that's how she was got. They physically just like pushed her into the ground because the railgun was so powerful that he was able to get past the defenses of Big Mom. Insane feat. Just such an insane feat.
I
Like,
mean,
I'm not saying they're not strong. I just feel like Luffy
Oh.
is another on another level, honestly.
Luffy is very strong, and I think he's stronger for sure. But
Yeah.
I mean, to discredit the feats of Law and Kid and to say that they would just get like no dift or like zero difficulty dift against Luffy,
No,
I
for
just
sure not.
so I listen. I just saw Strahd say that he's like, "High diff, are you high?" Nah, it's gonna come up against awakenings, and people don't use their Devil Fruit awakenings at the first battle.
No, for
Don't
sure.
want to see this.
Look,
They're,
I want to see awakenings too. Like, as I told people, I don't dislike Kid. I just need to see more of Kid. This is what I need, and I need a full battle, not just like two panels. But yeah,
I I agree. I think that they off-screened a lot of fights in Wano, or
yeah,
the pacing was a lot faster than we were used to, um,
exactly.
which is an issue. But the watch the anime because the anime is going to drag that out as long as possible, and
Yeah,
so
but
you're gonna
sometimes
get a
it's
lot
not a
more.
good thing. I hope they drag it in a good way, not just him talking and like we see the same panel action, the
Now
whole time.
they're definitely gonna give us more action on it, considering that,
We'll see.
uh, like considering what they've been doing with like everything else on Rooftop, it's gonna be crazy.
Mm. Yeah, sorry, Larry. We were taking like the whole
nah.
show to ourselves,
There's
bro.
my general enjoyment is seeing both of you just go at it and express yourself. So please don't worry. I just Chestnut be like she be making me feel a little like Sebastian's in the room. You know what I'm saying for a quick second. I don't
Listen,
listen. I get what
That's a
you're
big
saying.
compliment, by the way.
Yeah. Listen, I get it. I understand the hype. I understand the likability. It's just that when you think about the effects of the railgun, one, what does it take to build the railgun? Well, he has to have surroundings in order to build it, right? Like he doesn't conjure metal himself. So he's dependent on the environment. That's one. Two, when Law made that hole in the ground, there was something that Kid can push her through. So she didn't have a backing necessarily. She was hanging onto the edges of the said hole that Law made. So when she was getting pushed down, she was even fighting back to the point where like she was going to come back up, but under her bearings, her foundation broke, right? Because of the pressure that Kid was giving out. But ultimately, she got pushed into bombs, and then the bombs exploded her off the island. Now, if the bombs don't do that, Law and Kid already said like, "Yo, we got no juice left." So she was gonna come back up. She would have came back up and just wrecked both of them. Now, when I think about Big Mom, I've said it a couple times, and I've said it in today's chat, and I hate talking about Big Mom now, but Big Mom, she was written poorly in Wano to me, and we could just say like, you know, she has all these weaknesses, such as like her stability mentally is not there. She has a couple issues regarding her hunger pains, yada yada. But when she's not really focusing on her actual strength, like she did against Page One, where she used Conqueror's coding, but she didn't appear to use it during her fight with Long Kid, and then she gets powered up, and that power up literally did nothing for her. There was some writing issues, I think, at hand, and that doesn't fall on Kid because Kid has writing issues too, but it doesn't necessarily fall on Kid, and it doesn't fall on Big Mom. It kind of falls on Oda trying to send a message that devil fruits still matter, and I think that's what's happened with Big Mom. Now, for Kid and his fighting ability to fight people one-on-one, that's a huge issue because it's also an issue for Law. We don't know how they would fare against someone like Big Mom who's relative in strength to Kaido because they never fought a Yonko one-on-one except Law with Blackbeard, where you guys know where I stand with Blackbeard.
Queen, of course.
Yeah, so it's like I would understand if we saw more things from Kid with Hockey because his direct fighting style is just crushing and compacting. So he might not have pop, but he has weight behind his punches. But that weight is only relative to the environment that's surrounding him where he could build enough metal in order to do so. If he showed his Conqueror's, you know, attacks where it's like coded into the armor, I'd be like, yeah, I can see him like banging out with Big Mom fairly and having a difficult fight against her. But with Luffy and Big Mom and he's not doing things such as that, I can't really give Kid the benefit of the doubt because his awakening itself, I don't think it would, like if he attracts metal to to Luffy and Luffy's getting hit with all this metal, Luffy's ability is just not gonna feel that. He's just gonna be like, okay, like that's cool, like that didn't hurt. There's no hockey behind that.
But that's probably not the awakening. Like maybe some people thought that, you know, it's gonna be a bit like X-Men where like he can control the metal in your body as well at like a micro level. Like I was like, yo, that would be so sick, but that would be way too strong to be honest.
Listen, I thought Kid when he was gonna awaken was going to be Magneto. I was like, yo, this dude's gonna be able to create magnetic force fields. He's gonna be able to fly. He's gonna be able to do all these things like mess with the iron in your blood and such as that. And I was like, yo, this is so dope. And like the magnetism thing is still cool, but I just don't think that it's OP enough for him. And I don't think he's a good devil fruit user. I think somebody with his like Frankie with his ability would go so much farther. But that's just my opinion.
I feel like Kid doesn't know how to fight properly. I feel like he needs somebody to tell him what to do. Like I feel like Law was the one who was like directing them in the fight. This is something that kids, I think, don't really have the ability to like fight by himself like in a logical way, and he's way too emotional as well. Like he would have like, you know, he would have like the fight would have gone really bad if like he didn't listen to Law, in my opinion. So that's something he has to like, you know,
Yeah.
get better at.
You go, Chestnut.
All I'm thinking about is risotto from JoJo's because that's literally his stance is to manipulate the metal within your body.
Yeah, it
And
was.
so all I'm thinking about is Kid wearing Risotto's clothes as a stand user. An enemy stand.
Yo, he's not far from it though, right? Like his clothing is, you know, almost there.
I mean, if you saw Kid in public, like if you saw somebody dressed as Kid in public, you wouldn't say, "Oh, that's a One Piece character." You'd be like, "What a deal!"
It's true that he looks like he came from JoJo, bro.
I love JoJo, so maybe that's why I like
Yeah.
Kid so much. I do think that Kid isn't. I mean, he's not as strong as Luffy.
Uh.
But to be fair, nobody except for the top of the top right now is as strong as Luffy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as rivals, at the end of Wano, when we had those panels and we saw Kid, Law, and Luffy all have the same amount of poneglyphs, all go out on separate ways, it's clear that within the scope of One Piece, each one of them has a chance to find Laugh Tale. And that's where they're setting out right now. So that's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have people who share that same ambition or path, but I think that's just like the ambition part, right? Like it's not the actual when people start power scaling, that doesn't necessarily translate to strength, you know?
See, yeah, my takes though are mostly based on narrative. I feel like a lot of people forget this. I'm an analysis
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
channel, so I don't. So like yes, I do see stuff in terms of strength because in battle shonens
Uh-huh.
or things that have battle shonen aspects, you're going to have to eventually power scale because that's necessary for the plot.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, looking at the narrative and the story and what Oda is trying to convey, especially with certain tones and messages, that's where I think a lot of people get caught up on because I don't really look like if I'm like, oh well, this is a feat from this, it's because like, well, narratively, you start to build up. It's like this is how things in the narrative go. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that a lot of people will focus very heavily on the power scaling portion and
Yeah.
not look so much at the well what is Oda trying to convey with having all three of the supernovas portrayed together, stand next to each other. We constantly see them with shots of three. They all have a very similar dream of reaching Laughdale. So it's like when somebody's like, "Oh, well, Kid and Law aren't Luffy's rivals." It's like, "Well, I mean, why did they all set off on equal footing after Wano? Like why are they all searching after Laughdale?
Yeah.
Why did Kid have an upper hand on the Straw Hats owning with the man marked by flames? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like stuff like that flows through my mind.
Yeah, that's what happens too. It's like again, it's like narrative and then power scaling. They go hand in hand, but sometimes people go all the way to the right or they just stay all the way to the left. And it's like the right usually is the more toxic one, right? Like the power scaling side. So I get it. Sometimes we need to like have that breath of fresh air where we're just like, listen, we're talking about the middle. We're not talking about both sides.
That's
So
true.
I get it. I get it. So we had a couple super chats. Freaking guys were blowing it up. Strad with $2 says, "Excuse me, madam, 1v1. Hi, you hi?" And I'm pretty sure that's towards you with your Kid and Luffy. It would be a high diff for Luffy. Um, and then we have one from Oz again, 5. He says, "To be honest, what saved Roger from Shiki was Buggy awakening his conquerors, and he himself made the skies rage. Hashtag Buggy Gang 101."
Bro.
That was poetic to a degree, right?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Shin with the $2 says, "No way you just said Kid is the Shiki of this era," and I'm pretty sure they're just gonna go off on each other for the next couple super chats. Let me read it. Strad says, "Hey yo, railgunned Big Mom." Pause.
God, shut up.
Yo, Strahd is so funny, bro.
BD Cornell with the $5 says, "Yo, Larry, you and Seb make a great one OP combo. And these two guests, I checked them out. They have great content as well. New OP crew, Larry the captain. I think all these guys are captains. I'm just here supporting." Javerse says with $2, "Chibi holding down the fort for Kid Nation."
Right.
She's trying. Um
Ah.
So I do have a question. And on yesterday's TOPT episode, we finished our One Piece top 30 strongest characters all time list. And as usual, there's always going to be people with their own opinions. I would like to see both of you ladies look over and give me your perspectives on what you agree with and what you don't. And this was requested actually by Hime. So I'm going to bring up the picture of what
I don't
Again.
even know
what that
the
was
result
included.
into
Yeah,
my
yeah,
head.
yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah.
search up the picture right now. That way you
Oh.
ladies can have it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna find it. But it
I was
really
gonna end my friendship with Larry, legit, because of his
Friend-
state.
Friendship ended with Larry. He makes my best friend.
yeah, Hime doesn't like me anymore. I should have searched this picture up, but My bad. All right, I think I got it. Hold on, let me.
You got it?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
do, because I could go off with Hime for a little bit because I made a video today and I
Yes.
made a video. Do you think that Luffy has mastered any form of hockey? And Hime
Uh-huh.
had a great point in the comments, and she should go off on that.
All right. So I'm sharing it. I'm sharing my screen, so you should be able to see it.
I do see it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see it. I see it too.
Yeah, so that is the order of the top 10, top 30 all time. I don't know, Hime, if you wanted to start with the video that she was talking about, like your response.
Yeah, I mean, she
Hold on,
she
so
made
what was
great
the
posts in
video?
her.
What was the video again?
Yeah, go ahead.
It,
Yeah, explain it.
it was just a question. It was, do you think that Luffy mastered any form of hockey? Like, how many forms of hockey do you think that Luffy has mastered?
Okay.
Yeah. So, she also said in a video that she think that he mastered observational hockey and ornament, and I totally agree on these two because of his gears. And for Conquerors, like I feel like he only uses it when he is emotional. I never seen him like use it like he never relies on it, if that makes sense. He's always like when he's mad, he just knocks people out, but he's never like knocking people out like from the start, from the go. So that's the only hockey I think that he hasn't mastered like 100%. It's like based on his emotions. So that was my point.
Well, Fishman Island. Didn't he knock out 50,000 after just like kicking Hoodie in the stomach and then walking with all the crew? He just did
But
it
wasn't
calm.
he mad?
No, he was calm from what I remember, right?
Oh,
Am I
well,
am
I
I
don't. Okay.
mistaken? Like,
But so also, if you're looking at like his fight with Kaido, there was also like an underlying anger when he eventually used Conquer's like coding for the first time, and I thought it was a really interesting point because I went back and I saw that like every time Luffy uses it, he has some sort of intense emotion.
mhm,
Whereas with the advanced form of armament, like Rio, he even though he the first time he used it was in a very serious situation, he was able to recreate it
yeah.
completely calm and like without any like really high intensity emotion. But I think that during Wano, his emotions were so high that he was able to use Conqueror's coding. And I thought that that was really interesting because until he's able to use it without like his emotions running so high, I
Mhm.
think that he might right that he won't be able to master hockey or conquer hockey.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I have no comment to that. I feel like that's a huge discussion that like I'm not really equipped to. I would have to research what you guys are talking about. Because if I just start spouting nonsense, then it's gonna just be nonsense. But
People are gonna start getting mad at you, Larry.
they're always mad at me. It doesn't matter. He May's like the captain of the hate.
What? We
Anyway,
hate on both. We hate on the same things, by the way, most of the time. So
all right. So, um, Hime, you said you had some very bothersome pushback about this tier list built on democracy. By the way, it was voted. It's not mine. It's all four of us. So who did you feel was should have been higher or should have been lower?
okay, so I want to say that I didn't see the final result, but
Yeah.
I was mad. The moment what I was mad is when you started saying that Law shouldn't be up there, and
Hmm.
should and that you think that Marco is stronger than him. When
Yes.
you said that, fam, like my life flashed for my eyes. I was like, yo, this man can't be real. Like this man, like he's not reading the same One Piece.
Yeah.
No, because that was a wild take, and you know that it was a wild take. So I'm
Why
glad
is it
that
why is
you
it a wild
guys,
take?
bro, how tell me how is Marco stronger than Law? Please,
How
just like
I mean
tell me how.
I've listed it. You watched the show yesterday.
Yeah, but I wasn't like watching the whole thing all like
Okay.
nonstop. What I saw is just you being like, yo, I think even Marco can like beat him, but nobody asked you why you think that. You were just hating on Law for no reason.
All right. So
You have no reason.
there's nobody I think I dislike more than Marco. So for me to even say that Marco would get beat by Law, who I like, just screams like, all right, I'm not really doing this in a biased way. I'm thinking about it from a logical aspect. I'm saying, okay, So if Law was to do any of his awakenings or any of the gamma knife type of techniques, would they actually hurt a Marco who can just regenerate? And it's like, I don't think so. Now, in order to hurt Marco to a certain degree, does Law have the capabilities of hockey, because that's what it's going to need? Where like Big Mom is super, super tough. She's built like a balloon, a steel balloon. So you can't really pierce her skin, but Law has the ability to do so, right? So he could affect her from the inside. Pause. And it's like with Marco, you can't, like, you can shoot through Marco and you can do your shock Willy, but it's not really going to have an effect on Marco himself. So it's more of like a bad matchup against Law than anything. Now, if Law has the hockey requirements in order to beat said Marco, then I think it comes down to a stamina battle too, right? Like Marco's huge claim to fame during Wano was that he was able to choke up King and Queen effortlessly. But when he decides to heal the entire floor from the Ice Oni virus, he loses a significant amount of stamina. He 1v1s King, and then King just drops him without King going all out from what it says. So everybody always points out that like Marco's stamina was greatly affected. Now, these are two characters we know have stamina issues. I think that in order to beat Marco, Law has to do his awakening attacks or Gamma Knife nonstop. Plus, he has to be able to just even be able to touch Marco and hurt him, which would require those hockey feats that we didn't really see during Big Mom. We knew he had regular armament. We knew that he had regular observation. It was pointed out a couple times. It was insinuated. But it was never to the degree where like we saw his fist turn black. Or it wasn't to the degree where like he just did Doc Q's he took on Doc Q's lady disease and then pushed himself out of it using hockey. It's like Marco at the end of the day is still a Yonko commander, and he's our first Yonko commander. And you're going to need to be able to battle him at that level and be able to stand against him for a longer period of time. And that's where I was trying to get at. It's a bad matchup, and I just don't think that Law has the hockey in order to battle Marco. And that was my point.
Hmm. I see. But I'm glad you lost because I look, I understand. Honestly, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't feel like his regenerative skills will like
Yeah.
he will be able to keep up with it like the whole fight. Like he can't just regenerate like otherwise he would be able to like fight against he would have one against King. And look where King is located in this list,
Well,
you know?
again, I mean, I didn't have Law above King. This was a very democratic, vote where I chose that he would be under all the first commanders or just even. I just don't think he could beat any of them. Not by himself, because Law really hasn't had a 1v1 like since we've seen him post time skip. And when he was fighting Doflamingo, he was doing okay, but he was still getting bodied. And then Fuji came through. But Fuji wasn't really trying to like mess with him too much. And then it's like, okay, then he fights Doflamingo, it's Luffy and Law together, 2v1. And then after that, what happens again? It's like we get into these, astronomical fights, and he's just still 2v1ing these characters. And it's like until Kid or Law can actually fight one-on-one, we will never really be able to gauge where they're truly at because they're dependent on each other. Like the lack of hockey that Kid lacked made up for with Law using his awakening to attack Big Mom inside. If Law's never there to do those attacks, Kid doesn't push past Big Mom because he can't necessarily hurt her to that degree. It was like I just don't see Law winning against any of these first commanders. And like speaking of Marco, like I think Marco's trash, but I think Marco just wins it over on him.
All right, I understand. As I said, I understand, but I still think that overall Law is way stronger. Maybe against him, he's gonna have a bit of difficulty, but like if we see it as a bigger picture against other opponent, Law would have Law is stronger, and I think he will have like a bigger win rate than Marco.
I just feel like when you get to a certain level, like for example, Law did have a fight post time skip. He fought Smoker. Smoker is not that great, and then he fought Virgo, and then he kind of like just one shot at Virgo, and that was cool. But like Virgo wasn't necessarily like up there, and neither was Smoker. Like they weren't at the levels that we're now speaking of. You know what I'm saying? Like those were guys that Law's ability could just handle by himself because the ability itself, it needs more hockey in order to be canceled out. It needs more hockey to just be able to not affect you to the degree that it affects everybody. And that's why his ability is top 5 in the verse. There's not a lot of people that you could put above Law and give Law with the amount of hockey that they would have, and they would do just as good. He doesn't really need hockey in certain instances. But when it comes to these higher, tier level people, his devil fruit ability is not going to matter as much. So I think that's what happens when you reach like the first commander levels.
I want to hear also Chestnut on this take. What do you think?
You're gonna hate me, but I kind of agree with Larry. He's making some really valid points, especially with the fact I do think that overall Marco is a better. I think Marco is actually a better doctor, considering the fact that he's able to heal without like multiple people at once. And I also think that his self healing ability is far stronger than Law's self healing ability. So it is going to come down to like a hockey versus hockey battle, which I think it's going to be high dev because we've seen, I mean, the caliber that Marco has been fighting up against. So I think Larry has some valid points. That fight.
The only person
It's okay. By the way, I know that you like Marco. Like, it's a good, an okay thing.
I think the only person he'd probably be able to beat, and it would be extreme diff, is King. Because King doesn't have Conqueror's coding. Conqueror's coding. King has Conquerors, Law doesn't. King, wow, what am I saying? King doesn't have Conquerors. He doesn't have Future Sight from what we know. He doesn't have the armament levels that we've seen from like Cat or we can even say Marco has stronger armament than King. King was just mostly race based. That was his advantage. And then plus he had the Ancient Devil Zone that allowed him to do certain things. And then I don't know, man. Like I just feel like if there's any first commander that Law would be able to take on, it's definitely King. But
Yeah, but
the others,
then,
no.
like, do you think King shouldn't be up there here?
Listen,
Because like it doesn't make sense. The list doesn't make sense if you go on like,
Again,
talking about King this way.
this was decided between 4 people. It's not just my list. I think Cat is the strongest first commander right now. We can't say anything about Ben Beckman. Marco, I think he's not as strong as King. Because even though he can regenerate, I'm not gonna get all the way into it, but I just don't think that. I think that Law is under them. I think that he's like 1 point. So like if Katakuri King is 89, I think Law's an 88, and then Marco's like an 87. And I know that doesn't make sense because Law's above Marco, but I think it's really just matchup. That's why Marco doesn't go above him. Yeah.
Okay. I see. And also, like, do you think that Aokiji is that strong? Is stronger than Luffy? That's something that bothered me a bit because I kind of don't believe it.
How do I say this without sounding like an absolute troll? The reason why I would have said no if he didn't fight Akainu for 10 days and they didn't like permanently change the environment of an island, I would have said no. I would have said straight up no. I think after that fight, Akainu raised his hockey and it bloomed. And I think Aokiji's did as well because they did fight for 10 days. And like there's hasn't been any really big feats as big as that one in the show, unless it was in the past, such as like Roger versus Whitebeard or like Mihawk versus Shanks, stuff like that. It's like these two guys were like at the top of their game. And even though they weren't stronger than Yonko, I think at the time, like I think they just rose to a level through that fight that would make Luffy a point under. So like if Aokiji is a 95, I think Luffy's a 94.
Okay, yeah, they're like super close. And also like I just don't understand because everybody keeps saying that Kaido and Big Mom are on par, but like we never see Big Mom like close to Kaido on the listing. Never. And on no list. So there's they're not equal.
It,
Is what I'm getting at. Because even if people say they're equal, I've never seen them put them together on a list. That's another thing. It's true.
well, I get why people say that. And it's the thing that I brought up with Chestnut earlier is that I think that Big Mom was written poorly in Wano. She just had a lot of inconsistencies, such as like what she was able to do, apparently, to what she wasn't going to do in certain instances. They're supposed to be relative. Like Big Mom and Kaido are supposed to be relative. I think the reason why Kaido seems so much stronger is because he is the main villain of the arc of Wano, and Luffy was always going to just fight him. But
Yeah.
overall, I think that there were times where like I couldn't decide who was stronger because Big Mom has such a Hawk's ass ability to the point where like she could regenerate, she can power herself up by taking years from her life, she could turn anything into a
Yeah.
homie, she can fly, she has movability. She was even telling Kaido like,
Soul.
yeah, I mean that's not too much of an issue when you're at this tier, but it's like she's so much more versatile than Kaido is that it's really hard to look at Big Mom and go, nah, like she's definitely not stronger than Kaido. Like it would be crazy to say that because she has everything that Kaido has. She just doesn't have the Oni blood. You know what I'm saying? She might not have the durability that Kaido has. But overall her ability itself, bro, she's the most broken character in the entire show. It just depends how Oda writes her. And I've always said this. Oda doesn't really like writing strong women. He has a very much, I think it's like a Japanese cultural issue. And I'm not trying to sound like racist or whatever, but it's like, I think it's an issue in their culture where like in most shonens or stuff like that, there's not a lot of really strong women in animes. And I think this falls into One Piece as well. Like when you look at this list, there's only 3 women on it. And there's 27 other guys.
And also, yeah, and by the way, that was my last point that I wanted to say that one before last point is that I think Zoro is stronger than Yamato. But but we don't have any evidence, to be honest. We don't have any evidence about it, but
Yeah.
I think that, well, I mean, we saw more of Zoro than of Yamato, and like we saw Zoro was able to like hit Kaido, and we didn't see Yamato like damage Kaido. Like that's something we need to like look at, and that's just because of that I would have put Zoro before Yamato because I know she has conquerors, but we didn't see like a big ass fight coming from her. So I don't. It's the same thing as when you were arguing over Dragon because it's all about like what you think about the character, and I think that Yamato up there is what you think about the character more about her feats,
Mm,
you know. So that also bothered me, but I'm glad that there's a girl up there, whatever.
yeah.
And yeah, and the last one was Boa. I'm actually glad Boa is there because people like she's so underrated, and people like I don't know why they don't see her as a strong person just because she doesn't have muscles or anything. Like her devil fruit is amazing. She has conquerors. Her
Yeah.
hockey is top tier. Like she deserves to be there. So that was my 2 last comments.
When it comes to Yamato, it really depends on what you think about Kaido and his relationship with her. So, if you think that Kaido was taking her seriously more than he was taking Luffy seriously, that's a benefit to Yamato's strength. But if you're on the other side of it where you think that he cared about Yamato, so he was holding back on her, it could go either way, but it's up for interpretation. So,
Yeah, but yeah.
I
She
mean,
didn't hurt him. Like she wasn't able to hurt him. That's my point.
well, the thing is with Kaido, when he actually started getting serious, even G5 Luffy wasn't able to land a hit on him.
Still,
You get what
I
I'm saying?
mean,
So it's like
yeah, but
whatever Kaido decides to go up in level, it depends like if he did or not. And that's basically
Zoro
what you
was
think. Well, the thing was when Zoro was able to land a hit on Kaido, Kaido at that moment wasn't taking any of them seriously. He literally was letting everybody land a shot on him.
Yeah, but are we gonna always be like, oh, but he wasn't serious there, he's serious there? Like, we need to take whatever we can take, like as information from the manga, you know? Like,
Mm.
I don't know,
So
but I get it. I get it. I mean, I
that
get it.
that's Kaido's issue though. That's Kaido's downfall is that he only fights to his competition.
Yeah.
So we can never really determine when Kaido was serious or not, but we know that his elevation through the fight with Luffy, he clearly wasn't taking people seriously. It's just what he does. It's why people think that Akainu could beat Kaido right now because like Akainu wouldn't just like not punch him in the face and take his face off the same way he did with Whitebeard. Especially if Kaido's just gonna let him do that. So, oh, you're muted.
I said I will let Chestnut,
Oh,
do her turn.
yeah, Chestnut going off in the chat. I know because I know the chat goes crazy with things like this. So,
Listen, so I only have a couple issues. The first thing I'm going to bring up is how you say that Big Mom had poor writing in the manga. I don't think that Big Mom had poor writing in Wano. I think that her character was entirely consistent from what we saw in Whole Cake Island. I think that her actions, like the reason that Big Mom is so strong is because her crutch is her personality. She has this type of psychosis where she continuously tries to relive her childhood, which is why we see in Wano it actually expanded with her basically trying to protect Otama because she sees herself in a lot of children. And I really like how it was fleshed out in Wano that she has this childlike wonder and she wants to have this motherly urge to protect people. And it's one of the reasons why she wanted to, like when her and Kaido were a pair, that she continuously looked up and looked after Kaido because she has this urge to protect people because obviously in her backstory, she ate all of her friends. They all died. And so any person that she has a connection to, she is going to try to keep as close to them as possible. I do think that I don't think that she was nerfed at the end of Wano, which I just think that the pacing was fast. And a lot of people don't want to admit that the pacing was fast at the end of Wano, and that was the issue. It seemed like she was taken out quickly because it went from one thing to the other, but that's more so a pacing issue and not an actual writing issue. With writing, it made sense of the series of events. Like it's not like anything seemed out of place where all of a sudden it was like, oh, this was never experienced like back then. Like awakenings have been a thing. We've been going over hockey blooms since the beginning of post time skip. Doflamingo and Katakuri have both told us about awakenings. Everything made sense within the scope of the manga. It's just that it went too fast. And I think it's because Oda wanted to keep up a faster schedule because he has a lot of story that he needs to get out, which, whether you like it or not, the anime will do a much better job and has been doing a better job with Wano because they're able to slow down the pacing. The manga pacing is too fast. I think that Egghead has kind of gotten back on with better pacing because I think he's gotten a better grasp on doing that. If you compare Wano to something like Thriller Bark and you look at the pacing between the two arcs, there is monumentally more story given out in Wano than there was back in Thriller Bark. And I think that Oda just needed to get into a little bit more of a good pacing with it because there were so many characters, so many storylines, and I think that a lot of them will actually be addressed later. It's just that a lot of people like focused on them, and instead of doing like how the Oda thing is, it's like, oh, focus on this, comes back, chapters later. People wanted it to happen in that arc because within the arc there was just so much story getting out. Like we had multiple character arcs going on, multiple characters dying, multiple character fake out deaths, multiple plots going on with Luffy and Kaido and somebody else, Big Mom and then the Mink tribe, and then this, and it's like there was a lot happening, and I think that a lot of people got confused towards the end, and so the very few quotes, like that Zoro quote with Rima's grave, I think was just supposed to be uh keep that in mind for later rather than this is happening in Mono. There was already too much stuff going on and the arc was getting a little convoluted. But it's because if it was slower paced, would have been better. I don't think that Big Mom's writing was bad. I just think that the pacing was too fast. So I think that during the anime, when they're going to slow down the pacing, you're going to see the story is going to come out better because it's going to feel more like One Piece. The end of Wano didn't feel like One Piece because it it was just a diversion of Oda's regular style. Um, and then very quickly, Blackbeard is probably one of the strongest people in the verse right now, and that's one of the only other things that I disagree with. His Devil Fruit is completely overpowered. He is being set up to be the main villain of One Piece. I mean, if you look at the battle between Law and Blackbeard, and you look at that very last panel, like Law was doing some of his strongest attacks, pulling out his Devil Fruit Awakening, and Blackbeard isn't even phased. smiling at the end, pulling out finally the yami yami no mi, and then it's just like you see Law sweating, and it's like Law isn't winning that fight. Blackbeard is endgame villain. He definitely will be on the level of Roger and Rox, and I think that we see this with the Law fight. And this isn't just me speculating. This is one of a person who took down a Yonko, who is put basically on equal footing with Luffy, even though Luffy is stronger. Somebody who has one of the most overpowered devil fruits canonically with the Ope Ope no Mi is about to get his shit rocked in. Okay.
I'm not gonna pause you. You can keep going.
No, that's it. That's all I had.
Yeah.
That was the only issues I really had. I think that everybody else can be debatable, but I think Big Mom is strong. It's just that I just wanted to go over the story because I feel like a lot of people had issues with Wano, and I just it's because the pacing was too fast, and a lot of people don't like to admit that pacing, uh, like fast pacing is bad, but sometimes it can be bad or even worse than slow pacing because you don't really get a good feel for the story.
Yeah.
Honestly, I hated how she had a weakness that was Orama. Like, I feel like that actually held her back a lot too.
Yeah, but and I think it's warranted though with just how strong she is. Like, you know what I mean? Like like there always has to be a balance because if you just have a
Hmm.
character that's just incredibly overpowered, you kind of lose interest because you know that they're going to win everything. And obviously a main
Yeah.
character is going to win everything with Luffy, but even let's say with Gear 5, like there's going to be some obvious drawbacks so that when he uses it, we don't just be like, "Oh, well, that's it." You know what I mean? Like what's the fun in that? There has to be something that's like, well, they're overpowered, but this is what happens back. Like this is why they're doing it. So like with Kaido, it's like he like Kaido with his drunken forms, like one of his strongest forms, but at the same time he goes from like these wildly different emotional states, and it's like that's could have been what kind of took him off his edge. So stuff like that.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
we needed the nerf, is what I'm hearing.
No, it's not so much of a nerf. It's more of that's just how they're written. It has to be
Um,
balanced.
I get it. I get it.
listen, I agree. Wano was fast paced, 1000%. And then I disagree because even though it was fast paced, the dude was supposed to end Wano like 2 months before it actually ended. But instead, he was like, yo, I'm having too much fun drawing this. So he extended Wano. So even though it might have been fast paced, Oda did still go, yo, I'm going to elongate this because I'm just having fun. And two, listen, if people gonna say that Marco was healing the live floor and then he fought King and lost, and that's the reason why he lost to King was only because of the stamina deficiency that he obtained through healing the live floor, then you have to hold Big Mom in regards of saying, well, she literally used Conqueror's coding against page one, but she didn't use it against any other character that was trying to take her down. And it's like when you like, I feel like sometimes we choose and we pick according to what we think is right and wrong. I'm just saying, like, when I look at it there, that's poor writing. Like, you can't just say because Otama was somehow being threatened and she's this mom and she defends her young or makes her feel like she's, having this traumatic episode. It's like, yo, I've seen her like take her kid's soul effortlessly on whole cake. And that was her kids. I've saw
Yeah, but she was in a one of her hunger pains at that point though, and also to the point of not using it against like Kid and Law. I genuinely do believe that the anime will add portions of that. I think that very I do think that she used conquerors like within there, just like how I think that like why didn't Kid and Law use like any conquerors coding and stuff like that, or like use any conquerors. There wasn't anything like Kid is a confirmed conqueror, Big Mom is a confirmed conqueror, and yet there were no conqueror sparkles anywhere. I think that's going to be added, just like how they added with the combined Kaido and Big Mom attack. They confirmed in the anime that it was like conqueror stuff. Go ahead, Ime.
Yeah, I just want to say that if she uses skills we didn't see in the panels, I don't feel like it's canon, honestly. Like it will make me mad. Like, why didn't you draw this? Why do we have like to wait for the anime to like
The
depict
same
it?
thing that happened with Kuma's hair, the Kuma Pacifista, where he drew it like he just totally messed it up, and then he also messed up another thing on Egghead. Sometimes the editors just let things pass. And also, Wano had to end for Film Red, because they had to do the Shanks promotion, which is basically why we got Shanks at the end. So there was a specific timetable to get Wano out so that we get Shanks promotion. Um, so I think that with just so much that's happening, and there were a lot on those panels with Big Mom and uh Big Mom Kid in Law. Like there was a lot going on. So I think that if we're focusing on the fight, we will be seeing at least a Conquerors clash. I mean, they're confirmed Conquerors, so why wouldn't they be using Conquerors hockey? Like why wouldn't Kid be using it? I mean, obviously that was a fight of devil fruits, but even still, like that you could say the same thing, like why didn't Law use hockey? Like we've never seen Law use hockey. But like we know that he has it. Like when has he used armament?
So this is where I get into the poor writing aspect. It's the fact that you know that you have to somehow insinuate or write these things into the story. And regardless of how people want to like mix this into saying like this was just how things were supposed to be due to like time differences or time circumstances, at the end of the day, if you leave it up to your reader to interpret what you are trying to convey and it doesn't come across clean or clear, then you're doing a disservice to us as the person who's taking in the information. It leaves it up in the air for us to just speculate that this probably happened off screen. But we don't really know because there's no significant leads on if it did happen off screen. It's like, okay, so now we have to pay attention to the anime because you decided not to do such things. And this is the problem with Wano because that's happened a lot in Wano. So I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that this doesn't necessarily fall on Big Mom. This doesn't necessarily fall on Kid or Law either. Like I think that they should have been shown better, but there was clearly some mishaps in the writing for that particular fight compared to every other fight. Because this is a Yonko. She was made to believe that she's one of the most elite people in the entire show, and she's not going to be taken down by a simple admiral. It was just like Oda built her up and then he tore her down just as much as he built her up. And I think that's the issue. I don't think it's really on any of the characters' faults though.
Are you saying like he built her up in comparison to like Kaido? Like
Yeah.
and like Kaido was taken out so much better. So
Yeah.
and here's the thing with Kaido. If you really want to get into it, like how you said, it was very apparent that Big Mom was the Devil Fruit fight
Mm-hmm.
to show that Devil Fruits are still valuable. Kaido's fight was primarily based on hockey. And yes, we did eventually get the Gear 5 reveal, but then we also got the reveal that hockey will triumph all. And we got that kind of sparkle of information there.
Mm-hmm.
With the Law, Kid, and Big Mom fight, I think that it is also important to note that all of them were basically trying to conserve their strength to basically get back up to the rooftop at some point. Big Mom, after she was in Lair, you can't say that because at by the end of the fight, Kid and Law were like, well, now it's up to Luffy. But before then, they were like, as soon as we're done with Big Mom, we have to go back up to Kaido. Why wouldn't Big Mom think the exact same thing and try to conserve some of her stuff? Yes, and you can say it like this. Big Mom during that fight was in the correct headspace. She would never had any issues during that fight with Kid and Law, like she had during the entirety of Wano. So to say that Big Mom wasn't thinking ahead strategically, and as we saw with Luffy, your haki can run out, and you can get weak even if you're doing it. So it's like knowing who's up there and
Mm.
knowing that, wouldn't she want to at some point conserve hockey? Wouldn't she use her devil fruit powers because as she knows, she thinks that her hockey could triumph over Luffy's, especially if Kaido's there. So wouldn't she want to do that? And to kind of further counter that point, with the fact that Kaido's hockey is so strong and that Kid and Law were basically with their moves they were able to get past Kaido's hockey. Wouldn't Big Mom then, after seeing that, want to do something else and rely more on her devil fruit, which to be fair is stronger than the hockey that she's shown. Like if you're going into a fight against two people, you don't want to be having a Conqueror's hockey fight very similarly to how Kaido, when he was going up against people, was using his devil fruit for multiple people. And then when we see him 1v1 with Luffy, that's when he starts using the Conqueror's Haki. And that's when we see him go it. When you're 1v1, it's a lot easier to go up against somebody's will. But if you're going 2v1, it's going to be it's going to be even more difficult to go and try to use those moves, especially with what Law and Kid are. Big Mom is not a very mobile being unless she's using her devil fruit. So using her devil fruit in that situation is the better like strategy. Like I don't see what using her Conqueror's Haki would have done considering what moves she was doing. Like her devil fruit there was most probably the best chance she had of being kid-in-law, and she almost did. Like the only reason that they won was because the very last push, and they were able to get her down. Which I don't think she's dead. She's definitely going to be coming back because she literally stated that. Um, so that's that's another thing is that if you're looking at strategies and you're also looking at the themes of One Piece, there needed to be a devil fruit fight so that there could be a hockey fight. If we're just having multiple hockey fights, it's muddles the plot points because it's like, okay, then what's the use of devil fruits? Well, we see the use of devil fruits. It's with the Big Mom fight. That's all I'll say in this.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree. I genuinely disagree, and it's because of the fact that you clearly stated she was used as a narrative point to produce more of a devil fruit conjuncture to the story, and it's like that just proves immediately that that's just an ass pull.
But that's not bad writing. That is quite literally like if you're going to say, Larry, that oh well narratively she was supposed to do this and she accomplished her goal, that's not bad writing. That's just that you dislike that. There's a difference between you disliking how Big Mom is used and
Okay.
for it being poorly written.
Okay.
It was not poorly written.
Okay, so when Luffy spoke on Fishman Island, who did he decide to take out first as a Yonko?
Yeah, it was Big Mom, and I think
Big
she's
Mom.
coming back.
Okay, so it was Big Mom. So one, she got pushed to the side on Wano. Two, you just said it. When she fell off the island, what did she say?
Coming back. This isn't the end of me.
She said, "Do not think that this would kill me." And then what did Oda do? He killed her. From what we've known. From what we know right now, she's dead.
That's so that not confirmed. We
Kaido's
didn't see her body in the lava.
We
was
didn't.
Only Kaido's body.
No, we saw both of them. No, we saw both of them.
That was Kaido's jacket. You can go look at it. That's not how Big Mom looks.
Kaido wasn't wearing a jacket.
He was. He was wearing the fluffy.
Oh, she means
feathers.
the cape, like the thing on his back.
That was
Honestly,
What?
Kaido wasn't wearing. Kaido wasn't.
But
You see Kaido's shadow. You see Kaido's shadow,
But
and then you see next to
I thought
him.
it was
the
her,
thing.
to be honest.
I think.
Are you
I
sure?
No, it pointed out that it was Big Mom and Kaido in the lava.
They had Big Mom and
thought it
Kaido
was
down
her.
there, but they only. If you look at that very closely, that's not how Big Mom looks. Look at the picture. It's not how Big Mom looks.
All right.
It is to show, and they even say, oh, that like they even have in the newest chapters, like puttings like oh yeah, if she's dead, like it is very much hinting at the fact that Big Mom isn't dead, and because her plot point of the giants isn't resolved. And this is what I'm saying. Like we have to look at the narrative. If Wano was not for Big Mom, if Big Mom during Wano was the main villain, you would be here like saying, I can't believe that they pushed Kaido aside for Big Mom.
So is Big Mom?
It wasn't.
So is Big Mom supposed to be the villain of Elbaf?
No, she isn't. She is.
So who will
she is
be?
going to have. It's probably going to be.
But narratively, you're saying that if she's being saved for later, then she's probably going to be the villain.
There will probably be a fight. No,
Yeah.
that's not necessarily true. That's not how. So there doesn't have to be always a main villain of the arc. There sometimes can just be multiple people going up against Luffy. Big Mom's plot point will get resolved on Elbaf. But
so again, Big Mom's being pushed to the side.
But that doesn't mean that she's being pushed to the side, and this is what I'm saying. And a character created for a narrative, like a narrative purpose, doesn't mean that she's pushed to the side. It means that they're fulfilling their goal during the narrative. It also doesn't, because Big Mom is one of the best written characters. We have a ton of her backstory. We have a ton of her motives, what she wants to do, and what she wants to accomplish.
Yeah.
So if you're going to say that, oh, I don't like the writing of Big Mom, well, definitely not her character, because her character is more fleshed out than almost any of the like upper echelons of One Piece. What about her plot and motives? Well, that was also fleshed out. Definitely during Whole Cake Island when she was one of the main villains. It's just that Luffy wasn't strong enough. I mean, we got the focus on of Big Mom in Whole Cake. Go ahead, Hime.
Yeah, I wanted to say something. I don't want her to be a main villain of any next arc. I feel like her time like was is over, and I don't mind seeing her back because like of the giant thing, getting information about that, and like her discovering things about herself because that would like make a closure of her story. That's fine, but it wouldn't make sense for her to be a villain of a next arc because normally when we progress in the story, somebody needs to be stronger than the last opponent, and like I can't see Big Mom being stronger than Kaido or whatever, like whoever like is coming. It just
I
doesn't make
agree.
sense in my head.
I
But
agree.
so narratively, what she's
Yeah.
trying to also say is that no matter what, the narrative's going to carry the story. And like Big Mom was
That's
literally just used for a side gimmick. And the point is, if she's
that's not
going,
true.
hold on, if she's going to be used narratively later, then that would mean that she's going to be a tougher opponent for Luffy if she ends up being the end game, I mean, the villain of that arc, which would make her stronger than Kaido. And that's not supposed
I
to
don't
be
think
it. Like,
Yeah.
if she got
Then
treated
that's
better,
but that's
that's
not
gonna
going to happen. And this is what I'm saying is that you're seeing Big Mom and this is your issue is that you're seeing Big Mom as this big scary villain that Luffy has to fight. That's if you're looking at her story and her character,
Hmm.
that's not the character that we're getting. We're getting a tragic character who ate her friends, who ate the person who she saw as a motherly figure
Yeah.
after getting abandoned, trying to cope through this stuff. And we see with the fact that there was the amnesia on Wano, where she didn't know like very much anything.
Mhm.
She was very kind to people and very nice, and we see this type of person. Big Mom on Elbaf, Luffy is not coming to her to take her down. Luffy is coming to her because he's going to help her. And I think that they are going to become allies at the end of the day. And I think that
Yeah.
if we're looking at Big Mom and we're looking at her story compared to some of these other people, look at the goals of Kaido
That
and look at the
doesn't,
goals of Big Mom.
So
Big
I'll
Mom's
be
entire goal is to create a civilization where everybody can live happily. She's just a tragic character. If she isn't going to be this end game villain, if anything, she's going to be and make an alliance with these Straw Hats because I think she's going to recognize very similarly to how Katakuri did
yeah.
that she can't beat Luffy, and that it's going to be better for her goals and her outcomes to like ally with Luffy, and eventually she might grow as a person because of that.
So what did Katakuri say to
I
Luffy after Luffy defeated him?
Yeah, you're gonna come back and defeat Big Mom. But does
Yeah,
that mean always fighting? So every time somebody says I'm gonna fight this character, does that always mean fighting? Does that not mean she can't defeat him with willpower or spiritually or make a breakthrough? And this is what I'm
look,
saying. Like it's not always this fighting mentality. We have to be looking at the characters and at the narrative and what is the next step for this character? What will actually help Big Mom's character grow and finish? What is her character arc? Her character arc is her disagreement with the giant at Elbath. Will that be solved by fighting?
look, I do believe that Big Mom can become a good character. Between all the villains that I've saw, I do believe that she could because like she has this big heart. Like she's like a good mom and stuff. Like I know she wasn't a good mom like at all times, but you see her with Otama how she's like treating her.
Exactly.
But the thing was with Big Mom, I'm gonna be honest. I think that one would have been better without Big Mom. I think that Big Mom
I
was
think you're right.
a useless addition to Wano. Like Kaido could have like carried the whole thing. Like the whole Cake Island was perfect with just Big Mom, and right now Wano would have been just perfect with Kaido. I really hated how he just wanted to put fans. He just was fan servicing the whole thing. This is how I saw Wano. It was fan service. Like there was Marco there was Big Mom there. Like, there was like a bunch of people who shouldn't have been there. Like, why are you here? What are you doing here? This was
And
the whole time I was like this. I was like, oh, he's here. Okay, who's the next? Like, is freaking Blackbeard coming back? Like I was really like, what is happening? Like, there was
I,
too
I,
many
I
people for
agree.
no reason.
I agree. I think that the only reason that Big Mom was there is because Kaido could not take on all of the supernova by himself. Like he could not take on all five of them by himself, especially with Luffy. And so there had to be somebody else who was strong enough to take on Kid and Law.
Yeah,
And that's
they
the reason that she
ruined.
was there.
Yeah, but I
And
feel like they ruined like not only a bit Big Mom, but like I feel like it was just too much. It was just too much.
I think that it would. I think that if you say the reason that Big Mom is there is contrived, but her writing afterwards was solid as a character. So the setup being contrived, I think, is super reasonable. Hime, more reasonable than anything Larry's saying. Shake my head, shake my head. Don't smile there, buddy. I'm fighting you 1v1. But
Listen,
I
I'm
think,
letting you go.
but I think that if we're actually looking at the character writing and the way that Big Mom's like narratively is going, um, and somebody said in the comments, some wars aren't won by swords and gums. Sometimes the fight can be won with talking. Like what did Luffy do on Marineford? He didn't beat the hell out of Crocodile, right? Like afterwards, like when didn't he say like he's gonna I'm gonna beat you up and all this stuff to Crocodile, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. He talked a really big talk to everybody and did this, but at the same time it's like Crocodile then helped and saved him. And they were enemy. He was the first enemy that Luffy had, and then Crocodile went and saved him and Ace like multiple times in Marineford. This is the type of person that Luffy is. He's the type of person that will help other people. He does this with multiple villains throughout the arcs. And I just think that with the way that Big Mom is written as a character, if you're looking at it, that's the way that it's probably going. Because at the end of the day, the final war in One Piece is going to be the final war in One Piece, you're going to need as many people as possible. It's going to make Marineford look small. And so why wouldn't you want Big Mom on your side? And Luffy is going to be the person to be able to make an alliance with Big Mom. I don't think that Big Mom is going to be like all happy-go-lucky and like friendly, but let's not act like Luffy hasn't made alliances with people that he's been enemies with, and hasn't helped them through stuff, and hasn't helped them grow as people, such as Crocodile. And then I'm done. He may you and Larry can talk to the rest.
But I think that like we've talked about it, and like we've said our parts each one. I think that nobody is like right or wrong. It's just like I understand where you're coming from, and I understand what Larry's talking about, and I feel like I'm in the middle of both of you. So I think we're good.
All right,
Cool.
so one, Crocodile had to get his butt whooped before he could make that change. So you can't compare that to.
That's not true.
Yes, he did. He
Like
got beat in
the
Alabasta, got
yeah.
sent to
No,
Impel Down,
no,
and
yeah.
then Luffy
But
broke
that
him
doesn't
out.
mean they're not comparable. That's what I'm
Then
saying. That doesn't
yeah,
mean they're not comparable.
so did Luffy beat Big Mom?
No. But
Okay,
that
so
doesn't matter.
then that does matter. You're turning Big Mom into this tragic character that has emotional damage to the point where like her whole arc, her whole character is dependent just on her emotional stability. And I feel
Yes.
like because you're doing that, you're making her less of a character, and it shows even further like how much Oda just doesn't like women to be powerful. He literally has to make them emotionally disturbed to the point where like Luffy needs to redeem her somehow and make her this good person. That just doesn't happen. Like she's out here, she's inviting people to tea parties, and if they don't come, she's assassinating them. That has nothing to do with her emotional stability. It's just like, yo, you're coming because I have the power to make you do that. Like, no matter what you say, at the end of the day, it's always been pointed that Luffy's first person that he was going to take out as a Yonko was Big Mom. You might not have to use swords or guns in order to take her out, but the fact is, she's the only woman out of like the top 20 that are supposed to be undeniably strong. You can't just turn her into this simple character where she's like, okay, I'm emotionally
That's not
damaged.
simple. That's not
Like
simple.
I'm
Like,
just going to
come
be
on.
I'm just going to be like
Simple?
I'm just going to be this
Simple?
character that like you have to somehow cater to because I can't hold my own, or
You
like
did the same
I'm not
thing
able
with
to do
Kaido.
anything.
What?
But
What?
it just doesn't make sense to
Oh.
me that that would happen. You can't just do that to some like her character like that, especially when she's the only woman in the show besides Yamato and Boa that can handle themselves.
Yo, I have a fear that
That's crazy.
that Oda actually put Big Mom in Wano because he didn't want to deal with her anymore. He wanted like to like end her story there. I have this fear that he did this because he was like, yo, I need to like, she still exists. I need to do something about her. Like, okay, let's defeat her there so I can like move on to new stories and new arcs because I don't want to come back to her story. That could also be a reason why she was in Wano because she wasn't needed in Wano. So this is also another thing that keeps getting in my mind. Like, was this done on purpose just to end her story? I wonder. I don't know.
She should have never been in Wano. That's the point.
Yeah, never. Yeah.
I just heavily disagree with what Larry's saying. I feel like he's being incredibly reductionist to her character as well, considering the fact that Senior Pink is levied as such an amazing character. and one of the best written characters in One Piece, when Big Mom's backstory is far more in depth, and we had far more time with
Yes.
her as a character, and we understand from her conception, from the very point that we see her in Whole Cake Island, we understand what her backstory is, and we know that she's a tragic character.
Okay,
That
but Senior Pink
and everything.
also go.
And here's my thing, right? You can say that with Crocodile, Luffy basically helped him get over the fact that he needs to get stronger and he can't rely on his devil fruit. What about with Boa, who's another woman who Luffy also helped kind of get over the fact that like Luffy was able to break through Boa's
Yeah.
wall. Why wouldn't she be able like if we're going to be comparing people, wouldn't that be the most like apt comparison?
No,
So
because Luffy wasn't trying to generally just attack Boa. He wasn't trying to directly beat her. He didn't say I was going to take you down. He didn't say any of that to Boa. Also, the fact
yes, he
is,
did. Yes, he did. He literally said, "Boa, like if you I'm going to be I'm coming after you if you don't like save the person. Like you literally you're a horrible person. Like I'm coming after you." And she's like, "Wait, I'll do this if you fight these people." And he was like, "Okay." That was the entire point, is that Boa and Luffy were gonna fight, but then Boa realizes that Luffy is genuinely this kind character and falls for him and loses her defenses. She hated men except for Rayleigh, because Rayleigh was the one who saved her, but she
yeah,
hated men, and when Luffy came, she started to accept more into her life and became a better character.
yeah,
So and you can say to the point that Oda likes this trope with women, and I wouldn't disagree. I think that he does like the trope of women who are emotionally traumatized, getting help and overcoming their past. But at the same time, I feel like this is the exact same thing that Kaido had done to him.
yes,
He
but
was
Women.
they also don't hold the relevancy. So you said Senior Pink, you said Boa. They don't hold the relevancy of being a top tier fighter or a top tier opponent that would actually challenge Luffy the way he's supposed to be challenged. That's the difference. Even though Senior Pink had this great story, it doesn't matter if Big Mom has a great story. Like at the end of the day, Luffy's in front of him. I mean, Luffy, like she's in front of Luffy. He has to get through her. You're saying that he's just going to
don't
get through
agree.
her just because of kindness.
No, I'm saying that from story elements that were established by Mihawk during Marineford on how Luffy's able to get people together, from the way that we see the narrative playing out with Big Mom's story and her character, and the way that her
Yeah.
character arc will have to conclude with the Giants, that it not everything has to be a fight. And I think that we're all like, a lot of people will hyper focus on the fights in One Piece because they're going to be very hype and they're probably the most hype. But
Mm,
like Big Mom isn't isn't going to be this crazy endgame villain, because she was never set up to be a crazy endgame villain. Big Mom was always, from every single flashback we've seen, set up to be an emotionally damaged character. She has trauma that she carries with her. And so to expect her to be a Kaido type person, because I mean and this is basically what their argument comes down to. Kaido was able to get defeated by Luffy and had this amazing fight, but Kaido's dreams and goals were to create war, and so the only way to get through to Kaido was to defeat him in battle, because that is the way that his mindset was. Like, you weren't going to get through him any other way. Big Mom, she just wants to have an environment where people live with her because she has this emotional baggage from her childhood. So fighting her isn't going to change that mindset. How would Luffy defeating her change that mindset? I would like for you to, like, how would that help her character at all?
how would that help her character? No,
Yeah, if Luffy defeated her.
it's literally because she opposes him. That's the reason why. Like she does, it doesn't matter. Like throughout the whole time we've seen her, anybody that ever opposed her, she took out. And it's like, you want to say that Big Mom is emotionally damaged. She has emotional trauma. Kaido does too. Like Kaido's the most emotional out of the two, I would say. And the fact is, just because he wants this grand war, it's because he wants to die in a great way. He necessarily isn't that
Yeah.
much emotionally intact more than Big Mom is. But
I
just
agree.
because Big Mom happens to be, and I'm gonna say it, is just because she's a woman and she has to be able to do these certain things. It's like lowering her down when we shouldn't be doing that. She just be held at the same standard as Kaido. I don't think that Luffy having this ability that like Mihawk decided to go, yo, he just connects people. He makes people join together. That's his most dangerous ability. That's going to defeat Big Mom. He hasn't done that with any of the main villains of the series. Afterwards, after he beat them, there was always a chance of them reconnecting and then being able to pursue that goal of whatever they had that coincided with each other. But like, he doesn't have that with Big Mom. There's nothing that him and his goal pertain to that Big Mom would ally with him for. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I also feel like Big Mom like has like she has a mental state that is not like she cannot recover from, like when she gets like angry and she has hunger pains and stuff.
That
So
that don't even
I feel
matter.
like even if she becomes good, she's always gonna recycle to that trauma and like kill the people she loves around her. I feel like she will never be able to break out of that. That's another thing. But I do feel like it will be nice to have her like have a closure to her story for sure. But I don't want her to be like relevant as a villain in an arc. That's a no
Mhm.
for me.
I agree. I don't think she needs to be another villain. I think she's been
Yeah,
a villain in too many arcs, and I think it would get
exactly.
repetitive. And with this and
Exactly.
with the story that she's like with the story, like with actual like Big Mom's actual character, a fight just doesn't make sense. And I think that a lot of people want to see the fight between Big Mom and Luffy, and I think that we'll get not like a gigantic fight like what happened with Kaido. I do think we'll get something, but I just think that Luffy is going to get through to her another way because she doesn't need to be defeated like how Kaido was. Kaido had a completely different mindset than her. Kaido wanted to die and wanted to get this stuff and thought he was Joy Boy. He was Luffy if Luffy was not that guy. That's who Kaido was. Kaido was this person who lost his dreams, lost his ambitions, and was just the strongest on top of a mountain, surrounded by people and his foes who he was able to defeat. And he even tells Luffy like you don't understand how it feels to be at this position. Where Big Mom just isn't that type of character. And
And
this is what it boils down to. It would be cool if Luffy and Big Mom fought, but for the story, what purpose would it serve other than, oh well, Luffy said that he would defeat her. Well, Luffy said he would defeat a ton of people. Luffy said that he would fight people. He said he'd fight Zoro. And we got a small scuffle, and then they settled out their differences. And this is what I'm saying. Like, just because Luffy says, "Oh well, I'm gonna fight you," he says that to everybody. He says that multiple times, and
Yeah.
until he understands the situation, like with the Zoro fight back on
Okay, so Zoro's his right hand man.
Misty Peak. Yeah, back on Misty Peak.
Yeah.
He was like, I can't believe you did that. And then, oh, now they come to an understanding of each other. And
Oh,
it's like this isn't and I'm just saying, there is precedent in the story. And if you're ignoring the precedent in the story said that Luffy is able to do this, like how he did it with Boa, like how he said multiple times how he
yeah,
would beat people and then came to a more of an understanding of them. Like it's not a wild assumption to
yeah,
to say that Big Mom could do that. Yeah, go ahead, Hime.
but I don't feel like you can compare these characters together
she
because
can't.
for example, Boa. In my opinion, Boa was a good person. Like from her roots inside of her, she was a good person. She wanted to protect her people. She was just violent against like outsiders, strangers. But she was a good person from the heart. But Big Mom, she has mental issues. So I don't know if we can compare her to like Zoro, to Boa, to anyone who was actually a good person who wouldn't like, for example, Fujitora also is a good person, Like
Is he
I
though?
didn't feel that
Are
good person coming from
Zoro
Big
is.
Mom,
So the
So
you know?
so
hold on.
so
Yeah,
I
go.
don't think you can say that. I don't think you can say that Boa is a good person, considering like from everything that we've seen of her, we know that she quite literally will step on animals and doesn't really care about anybody and wants to be
Yeah,
seen
but
as
she
that.
cares for her people. Like she
Only
defend her people.
she was going to kill that one girl just to get one over on Luffy. I don't think I just like you're thinking of Boa post Luffy instead of Boa when Luffy
But
originally went to that
really,
island and turned a bunch of people to stone and was
yeah,
making Luffy, and she wasn't going to unlock her. She was
yeah,
going to
but
kill her because she didn't
okay, but
care.
really wouldn't save someone he doesn't think is a good person, in my
That's not
opinion.
true. How from what in the story would say that?
I just feel like really has like would choose someone as from their character more than like oh, I'm gonna just save her because she needs to be saved.
Well, he saved her because she was a slave when she was a child, but that's going to carry trauma with her. Like the reason that that she disliked people was because Boa, as a character, had this trauma from childhood in which she was seen as an object, which is why she sees everybody else around her as an object and as somebody who isn't worthy because they would have been people to stare at her and not save her. It's one of the only reasons why she was friendly with Rayleigh. Because out of like number one, we know that a lot of the celestial dragons were guys, and there is an insinuation of sexual assault with Boa's backstory, and that it's one of the reasons why she not only had such a contempt for men, but one of the reasons why she saw women as objects other than her sister, and why she was willing to sacrifice them because that's how she was treated, and she was pushing that out onto other people. It wasn't until Luffy, who she saw his scenario, his disposition, and saw what a genuinely good person, that she said, there are good people in this world and I need to change. And that was the change that we saw. Luffy and Boa never went.
Yeah, no,
It
I get it more now that you explained it that way. But I want to say something. There won't be a Luffy and Big Mom fight. I'm saying this, and I'm seeing this. It's not gonna happen because like it just doesn't make sense. The only person that is coming back to maybe like the only evil character that we're seeing that is coming back to get a rematch is like Lucci. That's the only one. The others, like you get one chance and it's over because it wouldn't make sense now for Big Mom to go back against Luffy when she was like, she got beaten up by Kaido and Law. Like let's say that this is how it happened. So it just means that if Luffy is going back against her, it just means that she wasn't beaten up. Like I just don't feel like it's gonna be a
I
fight.
agree.
There's not gonna be a fight.
I think you're totally right, Hime. I don't think there's going to be a fight. I think we should just move past this. I think Larry,
Yeah,
we're just gonna have
honestly,
to agree to
we've been on this
disagree.
for like an hour.
I know. I'm sick of talking about this.
Yeah, I mean,
Larry,
it's a
he looks
agree to
like he's
disagree.
gonna. He looks like he's gonna have like an aneurysm.
Listen, I like to hear you
I agree
speak.
with both of you, to be honest.
I
Listen,
like
Larry,
to hear you
better
speak.
stop looking so succulent in that camera because I'm gonna have to start going after you and Hime.
Listen, I like Chestnut when she speaks. That's just me. It's the same thing you and Par have. You have this very convincing mindset and way of speaking, even though y'all be wrong. And I'm gonna agree to disagree because we have been on it long enough, and I can't really come at you the way I want to come at you. But we'll let it be. We'll let it
You
be.
don't come at me, Larry.
We'll let it be. We'll let it be.
Fight me 1v1. I feel bad.
All right.
Let Hime speak for the rest of the time. I'm just gonna sit here.
No, let's
I
be
feel so bad.
together.
Anything
Yeah.
else that you guys have?
No, Larry.
different.
Larry, take down the stream. Larry, take down the stream. Take off this question.
You better stop. I like when
What?
you flex. I like when you flex. Personally, it just shows how amazing you could be. I think that's the main reason why like you just do your thing. This is why you're gonna be so popular. So you better drop your video soon and stop messing around.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I think I have to go. Wow, everybody, that was such a.
All right, but we'll end that one since you guys aren't on that, and then we'll go to what was the other one? Because hold on, my bad. Oh, question 2, and this is for Chestnut. This question is for you. Recently, you DM'd me about my recent Blackbeard theory video. In that video, I discussed things regarding Blackbeard having absolutely dog water hockey with proof to back up the claims. Then I theorized the path he could take to reach these top tier levels within the verse for hockey, and that would be through the wills of the devil fruits he's acquired. What made this video so interesting for you to say, hey, I want to talk about this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that I think I also sent you. I had a theory, like a crackpot theory, like a while back. Basically saying that willpower can be stored, like is stored in devil fruits, and it's not just stored in Zoan fruits. It's actually stored in all devil fruits.
Yeah.
And because willpower and hockey are so intertwined, you could technically take a devil fruit and give somebody who has no will hockey. So robots, inanimate objects, and more importantly, the seraphim, who I thought, like, because they're robots, they shouldn't technically be able to use hockey. But if you gave them a devil fruit and gave them an artificial will, you could give them hockey. And I think it's interesting that Blackbeard could supplement his own hockey with like devil fruits hockey. So the more devil fruits that he gives himself, the more hockey he has and the stronger it gets. And I like that for Blackbeard because I think I remember Hime was saying like, oh, he doesn't work for anything, and that's why I love him. Like he doesn't work for anything, and I think
Yeah.
it fits so perfectly with his character that he could use like devil fruits to gain like abilities. And I think that was the point I was getting at.
Yeah, there's been a couple things, right? Like I think we talked about it last episode too. It's about the transfer of wills. Like we were talking about Vegapunk's end goal. And like what's the possibility of like Vegapunk being able to transfer over wills itself, or like putting his will into a fruit that way it could be passed down to other characters. And I'm just like, I mean, if Blackbeard can do it, I mean, I would personally love it just because I think anything that makes him it's like the easy way out would definitely benefit his character more and be more in tuned. So to see
Yeah.
Blackbeard do that, like,
I also think it fits like with his because I do believe in the three personality thing. I'd love to hear Hime's opinion on this, but
um,
because he has like that smart conniving personality, wouldn't it make sense that the fastest way to point A to point B is a straight line? Why focus on your hockey? Why get into big fights if you can just have Whitebeard's Devil Fruit? And I think that that's one of the reasons why he went after Whitebeard's Devil Fruit. Whitebeard's hockey extreme went up against so many strong opponents in One Piece. So if Whitebeard's hockey contained in his Devil Fruit, wouldn't that technically be transferred to Blackbeard? So wouldn't
yeah.
he have and it's like a cheat code. It's like
Hmm.
and it makes so much sense because Blackbeard like really and think I think I can't remember where we were talking about like Blackbeard's hockey. Um that he hasn't gotten into big fights. I think it was actually our last podcast where he hasn't gotten into like any big fights and he hasn't had that hockey bloom. Why would he need the hockey bloom if he just took
Exactly.
if he took Whitebeard's hockey? I love it. I love your theory. That it was 100 out of 10. It was fantastic.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This
Yeah. I mean, it would make him so monstrous, man. Like, I know a lot of people were saying that it was very similar to like All for One from My Hero Academia, and
eat this.
I think that's true with the devil fruits, but like I don't think Blackbeard's necessarily saying that the devil fruits are gonna make him strong. I think that if he was to not have these hockey blossoms and he was stealing hockey from somewhere else, that's like an All for One, but with just hockey, and that's so freaking scary. Because it's like, what if we assume that the Yami Yami still contains like Rox's will? And I already consider Rox like number one in the verse. And then you take
Yeah, I agree.
Whitebeard's, and then you take
I,
something else from somebody else, like Shanks or something. I don't know. It like just the possibility of just it happening.
okay.
The dude would be unbeatable. There would be nobody in the verse who could beat him.
I agree. I agree 100%. Like I agree.
I think it would be
Like
I think it would be unfair. It would be to the point where like Luffy so Luffy had to hockey blossom against Kaido to the point where like he can create this huge fist. It could create like an island, right? It's like, what's Luffy's next hockey blossom going to be against who? And it's like, well, maybe like if Blackbeard has this insane amount of hockey that's not really his, but he's just using it, that's what Luffy has to go up against. And that's like a scary ass thought.
yeah, I agree. I think it's perfect. I think it fits the narrative. It fits Blackbeard's character.
I told everybody it makes Blackbeard a better character. I just
It does.
don't, and it would
Like
fit
genuinely.
the three personality thing would happen too. Because now he's probably gonna like be talking to Whitebeard all of a sudden, or like Whitebeard, like the same way Ace talked to Sabo. I hate his character, bro. He needs to be revealed already. Like he needs to be fleshed out. Like that's my huge issue. Like I just want Blackbeard to have everything like explained about him so we could stop making these theories because every theory that comes out
agree.
about him seems to be the correct theory. Like there's no
Need that
bad
Blackbird Dussy in 4K.
No, but honestly, we need a backstory. We need explanations. Like, I mean, I like seeing the theories, but like, I feel like we're at that point where we need a bit more of Blackbeard and stop, like, just thinking that stop all the theories, like about
Yeah.
yeah. Some people have like crazy ass theories, like that, like you can't disagree because you don't have the right answer as well. So,
Like the Blackbeard is actually a satellite for Emu, who's the Snullify.
bro, like this. Let's not get into this, bro. Some people, bro.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
Bro, come on. Imagine, bro. Like that would ruin his character. Like 1000% ruin him. Like, let's not
Well,
do this.
well, the thing is for me, it's like the three personality thing is really cool. It's just that I've only ever seen one anime really handle split personality well, and that was Yu Yu Hakusho, and they used it with Shisui, and it was amazing. Like when it first came out, everybody was like trying to like have a split personality themselves because they thought it was cool. I just don't think that it necessarily fits Blackbeard overall as a character because One Piece is so different in a way where like willpower is everything. I think it would actually make Whitebeard a worse character just because he would have conflicting personalities. Or if not, he would have to switch between all of them. So that means that all three personalities would have to have the same willpower in itself. And if they don't, that means that Blackbeard's always going to have one weakness. So he's going to have to switch to one of them in order to be proficient within like his fight against Luffy. And I just think that Luffy's at a level that you can't really do that. You can't just do that with Luffy. You can't do that to like Kaido. You have to always be on your game.
What if the reason he's getting 3 devil, like I assume that he's getting 3 devil fruits. What if the reasons he's doing that, like Yami Yami no Mi rocks, right? That. Then Whitebeard's completely different fighting style. And then a third devil fruit who we don't know who was the original devil fruit owner, but could be something crazy. What if he's getting like all of these strong hockey, like from all of these different people, and now he has 3 different fighting styles, 3 different ways to compete with somebody, 3 different hockeys to try to compete with. Like who, like is this the hockey that's better at offense, or the hockey that's better at defense, or is this Rock's hockey or Whitebeard? Where are they coming from? Could
Yeah.
he even do the same thing with Shanks at some point, where Shanks can use his observation and create like false futures? What if one of his devil fruits could do that? What if Rock's had that ability as well? It's like there's got to be something. Go ahead. Eva.
So, for example, if somebody, for example, let's say Luffy dies and somebody else take his fruit, will he have conquerors just because Luffy had conquerors? I don't think.
Well,
I feel like I can understand the hockey that is like transferred over the fruit, whatever, but I don't feel like you can transfer like all the type of hockeys. For example, conquerors needs to stay conquerors. It needs to stay special. It needs to stay like in your genes. I don't feel like this would be a good idea to transfer it over fruit.
so this is where it gets really tricky. It's that Gear 5 appeared. And when Gear 5 was going off, Luffy didn't try to unleash his Conqueror's hockey at all. It was just flowing out of him. So
Yeah. True.
if Luffy's not directly controlling that, that means that the fruit is either taking it the same way Enma was taking hockey from Luffy, or the other part of it is the devil fruit itself was unleashing Conqueror's hockey, and it was just using Luffy as a base form to do so. So it could go like it. That's the real theory, is that whatever Gear 5 was and what it was doing, and we know that these devil fruits contain will powers of their own, then it might have not been Luffy using Conqueror's hockey. It just might have been the fruit going off and he was taking the Conqueror's hockey from it, or it was taking from him. We just don't know. But if Blackbeard could do that same thing, then Blackbeard's going to be a beast.
There's something that I don't understand is that you're saying that you can transfer over your will and your hockey to the devil fruit for the other person who's gonna like consume your devil fruit. But like, how many will and hockey has been transferred over up until now? Is it that the fruit will keep getting stronger to like a point of like no limit, or is it like it takes like it just takes over the last person things that was like a sum of everybody behind them? Like how much is it?
So
I need more explanation.
when I thought about that, because that did come up when I was thinking about the Blackbeard theory, the only thing I could think of was Ryuma's sword, Shusui, was the fact that like that was used over like I think like 400 years ago, or like during the Void Century or something like that, right? Like he was the world's strongest swordsman. He was the sword god. So if we look at Enma, and Enma has this own like its own personality where it wants to take hockey from somebody, like, and it has its own personality. Zoro never really said anything about Shisui having a personality. It was just that if the sword wanted to cut you, it would cut you. So he put his arm out and he threw the sword in the air and it didn't cut him. So it meant like Zoro was worthy of wielding Shisui. But the fact is, it's like, does hockey over time, or willpower over time, if that object's not being used, does it tend to fade away? And we don't know necessarily, right? And then I thought about the Gomu Gomu no Mi, and I was like, okay, so this hasn't, like, the main question is, has it been used at all? Like, has anybody even ate the Gomu Gomu no Mi? Have they died? And then it had to be, it had to be just reborn in a way. We don't know either. But if it wasn't, and Joy Boy's will just stayed in that fruit for 800 years, it might also depend on how strong the previous user's hockey was, or their willpower was, to the point that it wouldn't fade over hundreds of years. So I don't know. I don't have an answer. This is why it's like a theory. But we would only know if Sabo dies. Like
Yeah.
Sabo would have to die, and then whoever eats the fruit next would be able to say like, Sabo told me to do this, or Ace told me to do this.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. That's why like that Sabo panel also doesn't make sense, because somebody had to have the meta metal before Ace did. So
Yeah.
wouldn't he realize
That's what I
somebody
was
else?
thinking
Yeah,
also.
it's just like I don't know
Unless it's only the previous user.
Yeah,
exactly.
but that's
Or
yeah,
it's
but that
only the
yeah.
previous user who's awakened. Which it could
I
be
don't
as
know.
well.
There's so many holes, but yeah,
Yeah, it's fun to play around with. It's different.
of course.
That's the thing too. It's like, yo, Blackbeard, if he can do this, man, like you might as well just end the show straight up.
Yeah, no, he would be too overpowered. That's why I'd rather him not have a great hockey and have like great devil fruits, just to be able to compare Luffy and him.
Mm,
Luffy having a great hockey and him having great devil fruits, and see like, at the end, moral of the story, hockey over win.
mm.
So this is what I want to see, but I know it's not gonna happen. He's gonna have great hockey by the end of it, Blackbeard as well. So we'll see.
And this is the thing too. It's like Chestnut said this on episode 5 when I was editing videos. It's that why would Blackbeard just give his whole entire crew devil fruits if they lack in hockey? And it's like it's true to a degree. Like why would he give all these guys devil fruits? Like there he has to know something about the will of the devil fruits, because if one of them goes overboard, that's it. That person's dead.
Yeah, the risks have to be well past, or the benefits. I'm so sorry, I can't speak. The benefits have to be like far surpass the risk. Like if you're gonna have a full crew of devil fruit users, especially if you're a
Hmm.
pirate.
Or maybe he can negate something
Oh,
and like
negate.
save them when they're underwater. Like, I don't know, maybe he can do something. Maybe he can actually swim and we don't know. Like, I'm joking. Imagine that would be
Well, I was
crazy.
gonna mention this
But
earlier about when Chestnut was going off about Blackbeard. Is his fight against Law is very weird, because if you look at the end of that clash, Blackbeard gave out on the clash and he decided to just use Vortex. So that already tells me like he either doesn't he hasn't fully accessed the willpower within the fruit to use, or he's just super devil fruit reliant still and he has some time to go, which would make sense because Kaido just fought Luffy and Luffy just won, so that means that Blackbeard has to get a step up on him. But that step up on him doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be the same step as Luffy. It just means that if he gains the knowledge or the access to this devil fruit, then he will surpass Luffy no matter how hard Luffy had to struggle to get to that point. He would just surmount him easily because now he has
Or
access.
Blackbeard can negate hockey with his devil fruit.
I mean,
yeah,
Perona
but
did it.
this is what I was
Perona did
thinking
it.
too.
That Alyssa, so this is a theory that I made, that Blackbeard can negate. Not so I've kind of changed it because somebody in my comments actually did a really good thing. What if he doesn't negate, but very similarly to Perona, he can suck out basically like somebody's willpower, so their hockey will get like weaker when they go up against the Yami Yami no Mi, so therefore they can't overcome it. So to overcome the fruit, you'd have to have an insane amount of willpower because it absorbs everything. It absorbs because obviously hockey will
Black hole.
triumph over all. But yeah, but the black hole, it absorbs devil fruit powers. Hockey can get through it, but what if it starts to absorb your willpower? What do you do that? So it's like against Luffy it would be a really good matchup because it would just be a battle of wills at that point. But against somebody like Law, whose willpower is strong but not very much, it would be like incredibly effective.
I can take it a step further and be like mid fight, he takes your willpower and he uses it against you.
That would be insane. I love that. Ugh.
You know what I'm
Y'all are
saying?
evil, man.
But if my theory runs true, like this is something that he'd be able to have access to. Cause
Yeah.
Hmm.
and that, I mean, how do you beat that? That's
Well,
where I
we'll see.
go. If Luffy's supposed to surpass Roger and he's supposed to surpass Rocks, and like these guys are like the epitome of strength and the epitome of ambition, like Blackbeard at the end of the day, if he is the end game villain, because we still don't know, a lot of people suspect that it's a Kaino or something like that, or Im. Blackbeard has to surmount those guys too, and it's like I don't see how these two people like can surpass them unless they do something as crazy as those things that we're mentioning. It's scary. It would be like it would be nonsense. We would think as Kaido as like a first commander at that point, I think.
I
Because
mean,
imagine Blackbeard could just suck out like the willpower of like Kaido, and then Kaido like is getting his own willpower used against him. That
but
wouldn't
everybody looks weak
that would no
now that
diff
we're
him.
advancing.
That would no diff him. And this is why I say like Blackbeard might have the greatest weakness in the show is that it would be really crazy if Blackbeard at the end has all this significant power, but the one thing that's always been his weakness was that he always got hit before he could do anything back. So like he's always been speed blitzed by almost every character he's fought. What if Luffy just knocked him out or like took him out in like one shot? and,
Yeah, no,
and then
that's not gonna
happen.
Blackbeard couldn't do
I-
shit.
That would be so much
that would
fun.
be cathartic. Like Blackbeard is a character that I
Oh
see as a
man.
total parallel to Luffy. So there has to be, because Luffy's entire personality is fighting his way through things. I feel like Blackbeard's fight is going to be it. What I do think is going to happen is that it's going to be a gigantic hockey clash, and I think that with your theory, if it does hold true, the very ending will be Blackbeard realizing that the hockey that he stole from other people isn't enough to surpass Luffy's actual hockey because his
Mm,
willpower isn't strong enough, and that he could never find it in himself, and that Luffy's will was just that much stronger, and that we're going to see the biggest hockey bloom. And I would be immeasurably happy with that,
yeah.
as an ending, because I think for the narrative and the story of One Piece,
Mhm.
especially as we've been seeing hockey blooms throughout, and especially throughout post time skip, I just I just love it. I just think that would be really cool. Oda just needs to not say, uh it don't he won't just be taken down with a hockey clash that's massive, guys. He just needs to not set our expectations to the moon, and
Yeah.
that's it. Just give us what we want. Oda just keep a little quiet there. No Wano endings, please.
Yeah, no Wano endings. I do want to see one thing though when it does come to that.
Hold up,
I
pause.
wanna I want I want to see so I've had a theory for a while that there's always been two Joy Boys in each era. Um I read out the script, but I've just never put it into a video. But I've always thought that there was one Joy Boy by Queen Odahime's words that will guide Poseidon to do great things, or will cause the world to go and or would sink the world, right? It's always led me to believe that there was two Joy Boys. So I've always thought that Rox and Roger were like the Joy Boys of their era, but they failed. And then I thought that Blackbeard and Luffy were the Joy Boys of their era. So Luffy brings the dawn, and then Blackbeard would bring the night. And I think that the Joy Boy that is so famously, known for being Joy Boy, I think that he failed because it wasn't his time. It was actually the Joy Boy of the night that won during that time, which created the WG, um, in the 20 Kingdoms. So,
Mm.
No comment. That's what I go over in my video.
did you?
It's so slight spoilers, but I do go over the fact that I think that there's two outcomes for Joy Boy. There is the good ending Joy Boy,
Mhm.
which is original Joy Boy from 800 years ago. The like Luffy as Joy Boy, Nolan, Roger. Those people are like the good ending Joy Boy. And then there are the bad ending Joy Boys, which rocks Blackbeard and
Mhm.
somebody who I'm not going to name yet, so that my video does good. If you guys want to see it, make sure you check out my video that'll be done in 7 years.
In
So
7 years.
I'll just say it because I don't think it's gonna be used. So Nolan was actually a Joy Boy candidate for my expectation,
I agree.
400 years ago. But did you have somebody already that was during his time?
Not yet. No.
Okay,
So mine is more so about the Void Century
okay.
and then like present day.
So the person I picked was I was talking with Par, and we came to the conclusion that it might have been the first Vanderdecken
Oh,
because
that makes a lot of
the
sense.
current Vanderdecken is the ninth generation, but his specific type of fish, he's 35 years old. So if he lived until 70, you can go back uh 9 generations and it would equal out to the I think it was like if he lived until 50 or something like that. it would go back to the 400 years when Nolan was alive. And there's a lot to suspect that Vanderdecken might have been the other type of Joy Boy, because he went down to Fishman Island expecting the greatest treasure of all time. But the only way he would know about the greatest treasure of all time being at Fishman Island was as if he knew that Poseidon was there. And the only reason you could actually know that Poseidon was there is if you could read a poneglyph. So that means he probably had the voice of all things.
I need after the stream I'm gonna talk to you about that theory because
Yeah.
it fits so closely into mine, and if I reveal everything, what's the point
Yeah,
of
my
having
bad,
an
my
episode?
bad, my bad. So yeah, so I that was an interesting question. All right, so question 3. Um I feel like this is a commonly asked question, but he may help me out because it is interesting that we all want to know what other people would want and do. So, starting with Hime, what kind of devil fruit would you like to have, and why that devil fruit?
Honestly, like I've always changed my answer, like through like the whole One Piece, like
Mhm.
um I would say right now, as of now, I would pick, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well, but the he no mi, like the aokiji fruit. Like I don't know how to pronounce it.
I don't even know what his fruit is
So
called. I just know it's the
it's
ice fruit.
but I mean, it's okay. Yeah, let's put it in English. Yeah, ice fruit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've always liked this ability, even while watching other animes.
Uh huh.
Like I've always liked that ability. Like I know many people are like more about like they always pick like fire, but
Yeah.
I've always picked ice, and I really like the fact that he can like he's kind of like he has the hacks because he can walk on water, so
Mhm.
he can't drown. He can just ice everything up, and he can like like also like you see what he did to the island with like Akainu. So I just feel like his fruit is just amazing, and I just like ice. Honestly, it's biased. It's just a preference. I like ice more than anything.
Hime literally says she's an ice
and
queen.
and also I'd rather be in the cold than be too hot, like in a hot art environment. But
Yeah.
that's just me,
I could tell
and
by the
it's not because
turtle.
I'm in Canada.
I could tell by the turtleneck in Canada.
I mean, it's just a style. I mean, look, I'm not wearing sleeves.
Hold on. So are you gonna show Chestnut the hoodie to that?
No, no.
What?
After
Oh,
stream.
All right. Chestnut,
uh-oh.
same question to you. What would you pick and why?
Hmm. I'm gonna have to go with Buggy's Devil Fruit. Specifically because I think that Buggy's Devil Fruit Awakening is
Mhm.
going to be insane. And I think that the fact that swordsmen are usually on every crew, and you would be able to, you basically can't get hurt by swordsmen even with hockey because you could just split apart your body.
Mm.
As we saw with Buggy and Mihawk. So I don't. So like you already have that advantage. Um, being able to split up your body, and especially if you're able to cover yourself with hockey, like multiple attacks of hockey from different directions. Um, yeah, you could do like finger pistols and do them from all different directions by like unattaching your fingers. Imagine if you could do moonwalk. At that point, your body can basically spread out wherever you want. So like Buggy's Devil Fruit with 5 powers and hockey is insane by itself, just like speed feats. And then
Mhm.
if you add the fact that his awakening would be able to split like other things, like you could do so much. His Devil Fruit is so overpowered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. What about you, Larry?
Yo, I know it's gonna sound super common, but Ace is my favorite character. He has my favorite fruit, and the reason why is because I never wear a shirt.
Bro,
I'm so
So you're
serious.
gonna
that's even more
so you're gonna
shallow than
cosplay?
me.
So
Huh?
Ace cosplay when?
Uh,
Yeah,
But we
when's the
need the donut.
cosplay?
But we need the donut in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
middle.
that's that's
I'm,
that's literally it. That's the only reason. I would never wear a shirt anywhere I went. I just chill out.
damn, son.
Yeah, mad shallow. It's okay. I don't have anything
Oh
It's
deep.
my
fine.
god.
Don't worry.
Oh,
Don't
I could
worry.
fly. I
I
could fly, you know what I'm saying? I could make s'mores
how?
whenever I want. Huh?
Well, how can you fly? Wait. How can you fly?
I could propel myself. I could just put fire at the
Yeah,
bottom of my
but that's
feet.
not the. I mean,
Yeah, I could
I can't.
fly. You never.
Yeah, they can do that. You
Yeah,
can do that.
I could do that. I mean, Ace was powering a boat. You know what I'm saying? Using flames.
Larry, if you cosplay Donut Ace, I'll cosplay a Kainu.
Yo, do that. Oh my god. And you know what? If y'all cosplay that, I'm actually receiving like soon the Yamato cosplay. I need to like that would be a great like we can cosplay three of
No,
us.
you have to cosplay Gaimon.
No, bro, stop, drop it off. You're more like you would cosplay him better than me. 1000%.
I could just shave and just give you all my facial hair so you could wear it. That's not
Oh my
gross at all.
gosh.
That's not gross at all.
Yo, like yo, Larry, don't let me hit you.
All right. So I do have one more question, and I think this is a goodie. I found this question. I was like, oh man, I have to ask it. Didn't tell you, Hime, because I didn't want you to know. So
Ooh.
this might be a bit controversial, but I want to hear what you both have to say. What if Oda ended One Piece without revealing what the One Piece was? Then afterward, he announces on Twitter, "You want the ending? You can have it. I left all the answers in a book somewhere on this planet. Now you must find it." Thus, starting the real life pirate era. Would you go to find it at all? And we'll start with Chestnut.
You know, it doesn't matter how many cities must be leveled, how many people must be killed, how many women and children must see their loved ones fall. I will. Nothing will stop me in my pursuit of obtaining the One Piece.
Bro, legit. I'll let her finish.
Oh, I'm done. That was it.
bro, listen up. Like, I've been in that situation because of car accident, and the first thing I thought about was like, yo, I need to know the ending of One Piece before dying, bro. like legit. Like I didn't think of anything else. That was the first thing. I was like, yo, bro, I need to know, bro. Please, at least Oda spoil it to me. You know, like I need to know. So
Yeah.
I'm making a crew.
Yeah.
Or I'm joining Chestnut's crew. Like I like
So-
this is
We will level every town and city that
Yo,
stands
we are
against
making
us.
a crew, bro. We are making a crew.
So-
I don't know what my specialty, my ability will be, but bro, we are making a crew and we are going there.
So I'm gonna
don't
make
care.
it. I'm gonna make it a bit spicier for both of you. If you had to choose people from our Discord,
Oh,
who are you choosing to be in your
I
pirate
like this
crew?
question.
And do you think you would find the One Piece? You have to name. I don't know if you guys know like 5 people. So you can name 5 people that you could take with you
Okay.
to find it in real life.
Okay.
Let's
Yo.
not do each other because I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we'd both be on each other's crew.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna pick both of you.
Oh, I
but-
can't pick Chestnut. Fuck. I need a brain on my team. I'm not like yeah. I mean, I need someone who can,
Yeah.
think more than the others. No, I'm not saying y'all don't think. This is not what I'm saying. Okay, you know what, Larry, you'd be on my crew for sure.
No,
honestly, I think
Chestnut said that we can't pick each other.
we can or we can't.
We can't.
We cannot.
No, we
I
cannot.
cannot pick you too.
No,
Okay,
no,
so
no,
I need
yeah,
to
yeah.
pick 5. Okay. Let me think. Because
Somebody said they're
bro,
choosing
honestly,
Dono.
I mean, it's all preference. But listen, that's the thing. Like, there's many good candidate, and like, I
Yeah.
would pick more about people that we we have a good connection. You know,
Yeah. Mhm.
so there's some people that I see their takes. They're amazing. They argue well, but I never really spoke to them, so I wouldn't pick them because I didn't speak to them
Yeah.
that much. I think I would go with. Wait. As of now, I think I would pick. Okay, definitely, I would pick Shin because he's funny, and he
Yeah.
would like.
He's
it would
also
be so funny with
6'5".
him.
He's also 6'5".
Yo,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it's just
I mean-
because he's really funny. I would pick Ansari because like we have a good relationship, I think, and he's actually pretty smart. So, 3 others. I would pick. Let me see. Honestly, I like I do like. Okay, I would pick Party Pete.
Party Pete. Yeah.
Yeah, I would pick CD just because he's into Buggy. Like I need somebody to simp with Buggy with me. And lastly, who would I pick? Fuck. Let me think. Who would I pick as the last one? That's the thing because the rest I've known them like equally almost.
Yeah.
Honestly, wait. Pick. Fuck. I don't know. The
Yo,
last
this is gonna
one.
be so. Yo, we're gonna get it in the Discord. I guarantee you.
I need the last one, man. Like who wanna be with me, guys? Who wanna be with me, guys?
He
Help
may
me!
ain't making it, bro. He may ain't making it, bro.
Oh my god. Fuck. Who's the last one? Like, there's so many options, good options, you know? No, I wouldn't pick Seb because, like, I just feel like honestly, we would. I feel like with Seb, the problem is we would fight too many people because of Seb. I don't know why. I just have this feeling we would fight too many people.
Yo, Shin recklessly
You know
always
what?
is down to argue with everybody.
Yeah, I know, but Shin, I feel like I can I can calm him down, but I feel like Seb, you're the only one who can calm
So
him
you
down.
have like the
You know what?
Hulk
I would,
and like Black Widow relationship. Like, what's going on?
bro, like impossible, bro. But honestly, I think I would pick General of 30, even though I never really spoke to him. I see his takes, I see the way he talks and he argue, and he's there, you know, he's pretty
Yeah.
smart. So I think I would pick these, but like no shade to any other. Like I just like
No,
didn't have like enough
he
time with
may.
you guys.
This is full shade. Full shade.
No, I love everybody. It's just I didn't have enough time with you guys compared to the others.
I
This
shouldn't
is
have done
why.
this to Hime. Hime's gonna feel so bad because they're gonna come at
Yeah,
her.
because I feel so bad because I know
Yeah.
I wouldn't be on their crew. They wouldn't pick
Yeah.
me. I know.
So you got your 5. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chestnut. Who are you choosing?
All right. So my choices are based on who I think would follow me into battle and kill as many people as possible. So the first one is Nurtaku because
Oh
he's my
yeah,
ride or
yeah,
die.
yeah. He's
So
your ride or die for sure.
he's got to be.
Yeah.
Because and I mean he introduced me to this super
Yeah.
cool guy. Love his takes. I feel like Party Pete and Shin would probably follow me into battle for the One Piece. I feel like if we were ruthlessly, slaughtering innocent people, I could count on them for a good couple kills. I
Oh
feel like
shit.
somebody said CD for funding. CD for his goated buggy takes. So I'll put CD there too. We're gonna need some people. And
Yeah.
then for the last one, like I'm trying to think. You know what?
Yeah, honestly, I feel bad because now I think I thought of Strahd and I'm like, yo, Strahd would have been a good addition too.
This last one's a hard one. I'll go Shanked. I feel like because of the Shanks profile pick and that Shanks vibe, he'd be down to conquer some people. So that's those
That's
are
a
my
good
5
one.
people that would ruthlessly go in the battle, and we would just
Yeah.
we would just destroy the entire East Asia.
Yeah.
Why East Asia?
Because that's that's where else is Oda gonna put it? How far can
Yeah.
we get?
Yo, he's gonna put it
Far? It's either
in a
gonna
weird place, bro.
where has he been? Where has he been?
Yeah. He's
It's either gonna be like Korea, China,
Or
Japan,
Japan.
yeah.
or he's been to Africa for South Africa for the filming. So we'd have to try to
For
like start
the
there.
Netflix special.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we'd have to first capture Oda, and I feel like Shin being 6'5", like he'd be able to do that. So we'd capture him.
Bro, like I don't feel like his height is gonna change
Nerd-
anything. to be honest.
Nurtaku and Party Pete got me with the interrogation as we're going. A CD for our ship, of course.
Yo, Nurtaku's kind of a big dude too.
Yeah,
I
told
think
you.
I think he's like 6 foot, something like that.
And then we'll have
tall people.
Shanks help us find wherever it is.
Yeah.
So that'll be
Every
it.
time Shanks is like joining us, I feel like he's always working. So you know he's a hard worker.
Yeah, but honestly, Shank also like he's an amazing addition. Like
Yeah.
I would want so many. We need to have 10.
All
5
right.
is not enough.
I mean, I just thought 10 was too much because there's so many, like, I don't know. I felt like, you know what I'm saying?
So many people now.
I
We
know.
Can't just pick 5. Like
Nah,
I picked
that's
5
okay.
like on the random really
Listen,
fast,
but
and I looked
five-
at the chat.
hold on, but like 5 is a good number. I feel like it's really hard for me to do this, just because I feel like people are gonna come at me way harder than you guys. All right, so from the jump, I'm picking Parvision because he's in our Discord, and
Wait,
he's.
that doesn't count.
How does that not count? He's in our Discord.
Oh shit.
He just has his own Discord.
Sorry, Par. I would have picked you if like I knew you were pickable.
I feel like Par would betray me at any point. I feel like our theories would clash.
I feel
that makes sense.
I need somebody to decipher what Oda put as the One Piece, and I feel like that's the same as like having a Robin on your crew. So Par would be that Robin for my crew. The second person, I'm gonna need somebody that I know is gonna hold me down no matter what. So I'll put Seb as the next one, even though I feel like he's a detriment to the crew. The third one is going to be Chris. Not Roanoa Chris, but like the other Chris, because his voice is literally audible chocolate. So I feel like if we need to get out of situations or get into situations, he's going to be able to talk our way through. I'll pick Strahd because I feel like Strahd is super dependable. He's going to be able to get things done when we need it to get done. He's going to be the guy that, like, if we need an itinerary made, he'll probably make it for us. And then I'll choose Void. Because Void makes really good thumbnails. And he has vision.
That's cute.
Yeah. That's my 5.
Cute.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many good picks. Like I hate this question because I had to pick on the moment, but like there's many good picks. Like I would love to have way more people on my crew.
Oh, yeah. If we had 10 people, we'd definitely go all out.
Yo, I would be able to like put like, yeah, exactly. We need to do like one day we need to do this. We need to do like this game.
You think
I'm not joking.
So you think we should do it with the Discord? We should have a draft?
So what we should do, and this is what we should do. We should have a draft where everybody like we'll have like team captains, and it could probably just be like me, Hime, you, and Seb, and we'll have team captains.
Nobody would join me, bro. Don't put me as a team captain. Nobody would join me.
And we'll all put what our crews are, and we'll have people, instead of like choosing people like based on their thing, everybody will pick a character in One Piece.
Yeah.
And we'll choose based on their characters. And then we'll do like games and stuff, and whoever crew wins, and it's like I'll have to like think tanks it, but like I feel like,
you know who my other 2 picks are gonna be for real though? It was gonna be Antari and CD. For sure. Those are my next 2 picks.
Antari and CD were making my list like easy.
Yeah, those are my next. But you know what's crazy too? Like, I was gonna put Party Pete as well, because
we were picking the same people. It's crazy.
Listen, me and Pete were going off in the voice chat yesterday.
Somebody called Sebastian Usopp. Oh my god, you better not let him see that, bro. I haven't really looked at the chat at all.
The chat's been popping off.
Yo, we're gonna have to do this. This is gonna be such a huge list. I'm pretty sure people are gonna start making it right now.
We're gonna what we'll have to do is like everybody can choose a character from One Piece, and we'll just like all draft until everybody's like taken up, and then this way like nobody feels bad if like they were chosen last, because it's like we'll have them pick from a list of characters, so it's like like if you didn't get a good character, like it's by chance, like, you know what I mean?
Or like what we could do is like put the team captains and let people themselves join.
I feel like it might get uneven then.
You know what we should do?
Like you could randomize it.
So there's a tier maker list like everybody uses for One Piece, right? What if we got pictures from like everybody, made the tier list, put all of us under, and then they would choose who they would have in the crew, and they'll take screenshots, and then they'll just send it into the chat, and then I guess like people could vote who would find the One Piece first.
Could be.
But
because it just seems easier.
Yeah.
And then you just let everybody drag and drop.
But that would be like, you know, considering we're in the One Piece universe, not in the real world.
I mean, we're in the real world. Hold on, we're in the real world.
Because for example, in the real world, like if we take into account like, you know, One Piece characters, they're not really as useful as, for example, like what does it take to find the One Piece in real life? I feel like, for example, my software engineer skills would be more important than
It
like
would.
maybe like a character from One
You-
Piece who isn't real in real life. Like it doesn't make sense. I don't
So
know.
so hold on. So I know the question was towards the real world, but are we saying like if we put ourselves into One Piece?
I
Yeah,
think
but
that would be a
that's
lot
what I'm
more
trying to
fun.
A
understand.
lot more
Are
fun.
we
Okay.
That would
are
be
we
a
So
lot
going
more
into One
fun.
Piece?
no, we're going into One Piece.
One Piece? Okay, if we go to One Piece, that makes sense then.
All right. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna see what I could do. Maybe we could actually do this, and then we'll like make
Okay.
it like a game night or something.
We could do like a
Yeah, I'm
huge
so
game
down.
night where like the crew who wins gets like, I don't know,
Um,
bragging rights.
I guess it would be like a huge vote.
Oh,
Like,
we could do like a role or something in the Discord, so you could have like an extra like emoji or something next to your name.
or yeah, or like you're known as the person who found the One Piece,
Yeah, like it could be like found the One Piece, and
and
it's
then
like
like
a
every
cool.
like the whole crew that they picked also is like in it, and they get their
Yeah,
own.
yeah,
Yeah,
and they all get like a little emoji next to their name in the Discord or something. Could just be fun.
this is
Yeah,
gonna
honestly, it would be so dope. I'm so
this shit's gonna
down.
get mad toxic, bro.
It's gonna get super toxic, but we can't play like any skill based game. Like no
Yeah.
like actual video games. Like this needs to be like just like Cards Against Humanity type stuff. Like just like
So hold on.
fun.
So
And
are
also,
we?
it's just for fun, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, like board games and stuff. We'll have like different crews go up against each other.
So is this going to be like how like who are we gonna put into categories where they can't pick each other? Like, are we gonna say like I can't pick or like the mods can't pick each other?
We should just what we should do is everybody who wants to do it puts their name into a survey thing, and then we'll just have captains, and then we'll just randomize. It'll be
Yeah.
so much less toxic, and it's like at that point, if everything's randomized, nobody will have any say. Nobody's gonna feel bad for being picked last. I would be
Okay.
picked last. Let's
So
be honest.
we randomize who's going to be captains.
Uh, I mean we can, but I was gonna say we randomize the crews.
Oh, randomize the crews.
Yeah. I mean, I don't if you want to randomize the captains, you can. I don't know if some people will be comfortable. Maybe like if you want to be a captain,
I'd say
like put in.
I'd say having the mods, like having some of the mods as captains, is a good idea because they interact the most with the people.
That could be true. Yeah.
Um, because yeah, I mean, unless you know, there's people who interact more with everybody else, like outside of mods. I don't know if that's
Cause
the
like I'm
case,
gonna
but
be
yeah.
real. If it's all game, I'm definitely choosing you two. So it's like I'm gonna be doing that. You know what I'm saying? I already have like 8 people on my crew if I choose you two. That's why I'm like, yo,
Would I
like,
be
That'd
the
be so
doc?
much
Would
fun.
I be the doctor, Larry?
yes.
I can be your hacker. I can be a like, you know.
No, Hime's gonna be the Nami, bro. She's literally gonna do like
But
she's gonna steal money, get money for us.
yeah, by hacking. Exactly.
Yeah. You would have a devil fruit. You would have a hacking fruit. Oh no, we're not getting into devil fruits because then that's gonna get too complicated. But all right, I think we should do this.
I think so.
Yeah,
I love
that
how we
sounds
came
super
up with
fun.
this idea on stream.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
gonna be.
let's keep talking about it after and like, you know, come to like a set
This
of
is
rules.
this is the Anime Expo thing all over again. We created something and it's just blown out of proportion. It's
Yeah,
gonna
it's gonna be so much fun. I can feel it. I can
Yeah,
feel it.
it's gonna be fun. All right, so before we end the show, I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for coming on once again. So I didn't tell you yet, but I was thinking if you guys wanted to do this every week, I'd like to just do it with you guys or create our own show. That way, it's up to you. So
I
we'll
would be
talk.
so
how am I gonna get into your house though? You didn't give me a house key.
Listen,
I just need your credit card number, the 3 numbers on the back, and then the
I'm-
cute last 4 digits of your
I'm
social.
scared to let my
Listen, I just
address
need the
out
house-
because Hime would probably break in and destroy everything and then
Bro,
leave.
I would just break inside of Chestnut's house to see her.
Hime would just cause
God.
destruction. She would break my TV and just bounce.
I'm
Bro,
I'm
yesterday-
super down though, Larry.
I don't remember,
Alright.
but like yesterday or the day before, like I showed them where I live, bro. Like on stream.
Oh my god, yeah, you did. That's okay. I accidentally released my whole ass address and my given birth name on my TikTok, and then my mom watched my video and she's like,
You gotta take that down. Listen, you got creeps too, Chestnut, low key.
yeah,
So
I do. It was
Yeah,
really,
you got-
it was
you got
actually really
creeps.
bad. I didn't realize, and I was like, oh my god, people are gonna start showing up to my house.
All right, but anyway, any final words, ladies? You could go, take it away, tell them where they can find you, yada yada.
Go ahead, Chestnut first.
Okay. So you guys probably know I'm the Chestnut Tanuki. I do analysis stuff on TikTok. Go follow me there. I'm about to drop a banger video, guys. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's gonna be poppin'. And also, I guess come back and see me next week here with.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then Hime.
Yeah, and as always, you all can follow me on my TikTok, Ohime Tenshi. So I'm gonna soon drop another cosplay. I'm having fun. I have so many of them. I need to film them. So and otherwise, y'all would want to be on my crew. I'm gonna treat you right, and we're gonna have so much fun. You know.
I'm telling you right now, if y'all want to leave Hime's crew, she gonna have that Luffy moment, bro, where she gonna like want you back after you betrayed her.
Yeah, 100%. I'm this.
You need a Zoro. You need a Zoro on your crew, straight up. You need to
I
like.
need someone to be mean because I am too kind. This is why I picked Shin, because I know Shin can be like, yo, like this is not okay and we're not doing this, Hime. And I'm gonna be like, but crying, you know?
Oh my god.
Shen is like Gene, Gene Bark, I think his last name is. That's on Law's crew, the one that he picked up at Sabaody.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, yeah. I need someone like, because I'm too weak-hearted, you know.
Yeah. All right then. Are you guys gonna chill after? What are you guys gonna do? You're gonna go.
I thought we were gonna hang out at your house.
I mean, I think, but that's the thing. I wanted to do the. I don't know if like I still do the watch party today.
Oh yeah, the
tonight.
watch party is tonight, right?
Yeah, it would make sense. I forgot like to add everyone. I will add everyone right now and tell them to come like at 9 to do the watch party, because tomorrow there's like the Davy tournament. So
Yeah.
like we're not trying to do that tomorrow because it always like ends at like midnight, you know.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm fighting the One Piece party people. What the fuck are you talking about? This is why I need you on my crew. Because look, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna sway every enemy, and I'm gonna make them fall in love with me. So we're not never have to fight anybody. You just need to walk in a straight line, and we're not gonna get there. And I'm lucky, by the way. So, yeah.
Okay.
Are we live? Are we live?
Yeah, we're still live.
Uh-oh.
We haven't said bye yet. All right. Anyway,
I was just having fun.
guys, we might have game night, or we're definitely gonna have watch party later. So join us there. Join us in our Discord, and I just want to say thank you again for everybody that's joining and loving the ladies that we have on. So other than that, nothing else. Enjoy the rest of your night.